And mic on. Okay, this actually appears to be working. Excellent! G'day ladies and gents, and welcome to War Thunder Sim EC livestream number 1. So, I finally got this all working, I think. Frig, that jet that they have passed over this place is loud. There it is. Buddy mongrel of a thing. Anyways, guys, I've just got this one fired up. We're going to be doing a little grinding of the Swedes low tier in EC. I did a little bit of this on Twitch earlier on today while I was waiting to see whether or not I can get some results back on getting this all set up. I hope it all works. Stream is in 720p, of course. The net connection is hopefully going to be okay, but is typically Australian, and everything is being recorded. Well, now, everything is being recorded so that, obviously I can cut together a 1080p highlight reel in the background. So remember to like the stream, lads. Thanks, guys. Now, I'm looking down here. You won't see anything on your screen at the moment, but just so you understand what's going on, sitting right about here in a spot where you can't see, I actually have a window that is floating mid-air that is showing me my stream chat. So I can see you guys, I can talk back, and yeah. Yeah, only 720p. I'm still working on 1080p. My goal is 1080p 60 if I can get it. I'll take 1080p 30 if I can. 720p is as good as I've got for the moment, but it is a work in progress. So, anyways, we have our lineup here. It's going to be doing 2.3. Well, actually, we're doing a 2.0 lineup. Actually, no, I can change this now. I just realized because I unlocked a whole bunch of stuff in the stream earlier on today. Ooh, alright, so 3.3 will be the max tier. Basically, we're up-tiering ourselves because we were trying earlier today on the stream for 1.7 to 2.0 in Sim EC, but there's just not enough bloody players, and when you do actually get a couple of them showing up, if the match starts swinging one way rather than the other and they realise they're not going to win, they bail. So you wind up fighting bots. More players seem to be floating around the 3.3 category, so we're hoping we're going to get into there. Now, I'm going to rechange this lineup just a little, because we unlocked the 21A1. Now, I have not flown this at all. I have never sat in it. I have never test flown it. I have done nothing with this aircraft at all. So I'm going to put it in the first slot, and I'm going to rejig this entire line. Most of it's going to be 2.0 though, still. Now, I want the 22A in, because I really like that. I'll put that in the second slot. That was fun. It was like a cross between an early 190 Anton and a 109. Now, just to make it clear what I'm actually doing, as you can see, I haven't progressed too far down the Swedish tree. Not because I don't like them. I've actually enjoyed most of the aircraft that I've flown. I keep getting distracted with, side do this, do that, side projects. Yeah, I spent 50,000. I'll get another crew. It's still a Silver Lion crew. And I'll put the B-17... Yeah, put the B-17A in as well, just because it isn't... Yeah, just because it isn't... Actually, no, I won't. J20, B-17B, J22B... That'll do. I'll leave that lineup as it is. But yeah, I keep getting sidetracked and distracted doing other things, so I never end up getting down this tree. So I've decided what I'm going to do is attempt to grind, and I was only up to around here, all of the tree out in Sim EC only. No RB, no AB at all. Just a pure Sim grind. Now, I've only started doing this today, and we went from about here in the tree. We unlocked all of this just today in 1 and a bit matches, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Now, I want to go events, air simulator battles. I've got the camera turned off at the moment too, guys, but I can turn it on if you wish to see my ugly mug swinging his head around like an idiot. Where's the Swedish 113 heavy bomber? This is Trippy. I love the lower BRs with a passion, just some strange kind of fun that isn't matched by the higher tiers. Yeah, I prefer lower stuff and just up to post-war jets. I'll play higher, but hey. Hey Reach, how's it going, mate? Anyone know if TrackIR works with War Thunder? I've never thought to try. Yeah, TrackIR works with War Thunder perfectly fine. TrackIR works with just about everything perfectly fine. Bad news, I'm now unemployed. Good news, I kindly fought my first stream while sending out applications. It's the little things. I'm sorry to hear about the unemployment. You're not alone at the moment. The COOF, I'm not sure if you're actually allowed to call it, yeah, screw it, COVID, has definitely caused everyone a few problems in that way. But hey, you didn't just catch a stream. This is the first proper stream for YouTube. I need to use the Swedish chef voice. No, I really, really don't. I really don't. You trust me, you do not want that. Alright, Vietnam. So we're after 3-3 as a top tier. Well, 1-2. That's not bad. 3 versus 2. I'd like a little bit more of a population on if we can get it. No. Nope and nope. Alright, so 2-3 to 3-3. That's not terrible. 8-7. America, the United States, Britain, France, and Sweden versus Germany, Russia, Japan, China, and Italy. Yeah, that'll do. I'll take that. 3.3 maximum? Yeah, damn right. I don't even care how long it's been running for. We'll go that. We'll work that out once we're inside. Is YouTube still hating 720p since this looks blurrier than expected on a 2K display? It could be. I'm not sure. This is the first time streaming to YouTube at this res and these settings. So hopefully it'll turn up okay. It could also be part of the VR effect, although I am straight screen recording at this point, so that should be okay. Alright, so B17B, we can go for some points. 2A, so on this lineup, only the J21A1 is going to cost us anything. So we'll fly out the 22B, because I haven't flown this yet at all either, so it's dead stock, and see if we can get some points in it. I could get my ass kicked here. We'll find out what happens. Yeah, we'll leave it on... No, we'll leave it on 20 minutes of fuel. We'll leave it on 20 minutes of fuel. I'll make a run back if I have to. And let's start out of the Ford airfield. Whoa, bad network connection. Okay, that is not what I want to be seeing right now. Where the hell are we playing to? Oh, damn it. God damn it, Windows Mixed Reality. How can I fix this? Let's see if I can fix this. No. No, I should have checked that. Alright, give me 1 second, guys. This might be a little loud. I hope not. Whoa, okay, that reset the tracking. Alright, I managed to do that. This is not a place where I want my head. No, let's reset that camera, please. Hopefully the bad network connection thing that's popping up will piss off here soon, otherwise we might have to find another server. That's the one thing I didn't check. Alright, engine start. MagzTV, I don't mind TrackIR, I just don't like the idea of moving my head while straining my eyes to keep track of the monitor. Well, that is the issue with TrackIR, although you can adjust exactly how sensitive or non-sensitive you want that to be. Please start my engine, thank you. For the record, what's going on here at the moment is there are about 5 planes spawned in at one spot on the runway. And we're all inside of one another. There we go. Whoa, yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion the reason why this one is so populated is I might be connecting to a Russian server. If that's the case, we might have to change servers. Yeah, whoa, yeah, this is... Yep. We might have to turn around. We'll try and land this so I don't get a get a crew lock, and this is not going to be flyable. For anybody who's wondering what it's like to fly in VR with at least a 700 millisecond ping, this is what you're seeing right now. All these little jerky movements left and right on the plane at the moment, I'm not doing those. In regards to the TrackIR thing, you can adjust the sensitivity. I don't think I'm going to get to land. This is just trying to put itself into the ground. Yeah, this is not good. Yeah, this is a Russian server. It has to be. You can adjust the sensitivity on exactly how far you need to turn your head while wearing TrackIR in relation to how far it will turn on the screen. So it's not like you have to strain your eyes hard. I had mine actually adjusted. You can also adjust it off-center with TrackIR software. So I had mine adjusted so my rightwards head movements would be, or my leftwards head movements would move the camera more left than those turning to the right. So custom curves on the turning, and that's because I'm blind in the left eye. So I needed to bring my right eye around on the screen more in order to be able to see what was going on, because my left eye couldn't pick up what needed to be picked up. Can I land with 700 millisecond ping? Probably not. Well... That's kind of a landing. Fix my plane. Critically damaged and repair is not available. That's fine. As long as I don't get a crew lock, I don't care. Yeah, return to hangar. Let's find a different server, I think. Alright, so... If the chat's reading through fast, I'm actually going to miss stuff because I can't backread messages, and I haven't got anyone to do that. Get part of my Discord there. Now, okay, that's cool, that's fixed. Yeah, let's see if we can find somewhere, quit that one, that is not around on the other side of the planet or further. It's a shame, that was really populated too. This is the only other one that's any good. There's one there. Now. No, Russia wasn't on. That must have been a bad EU server. So let's turn EU off. Alright, what do we got now? They're all Afghanistan. God damn it. 2/1. Anything else? 0/0. No, it's... Got out of bed, you slack bastards. And that's 1-2, so that's not what I want. Select servers, US. I'll take that. Battle is already in progress, 57 minutes. That must have just opened up, so I'll take a slot on that right now. Yeah, if the chat rolls through, I can't actually scroll back up in VR, so I can't see anything that pops up. The one where you can match a Fokker DR1 against an F4 Phantom. If you're talking about an old flight sim, I think I actually remember that one. I may have had that on the Amiga. Reset my camera. This is... And this is the 2.0 server that's got all the active players on it. Damn it, I wanted to fly the G22. Alright, well, if this is where all the players are at, we'll give this a quick shot. I'll try the J8A and see whether or not some other people will get on 3. You're shitting me, right? You have to absolutely be shitting me. Why the fuck do I have a 500 millisecond ping to the US servers? 600, 800, 999. Is anybody else having trouble in War Thunder at the moment with their servers? Is Gaijin's hamster dying again? Because this looks like a US server. This one should be perfectly fine for me. This is what I was playing on earlier today with no problems. And the bad network connection part seems to be popping in and out constantly. And it's maxed out again. 999. I'm pretty sure you don't get crew lock and repair cost in SB. No, you get charged to deploy aircraft, and I have had a crew lock once for quitting in. The stream is lagging a bit too. Maybe it's your internet. Oh my god, I hope my net's not suddenly going down. This would be perfect timing for it. Set it to an Australian server. There are none. Any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. The next sports event running away from the crew chief. For record, what you're seeing now is not representative of playing VR in general. No, the lag you're seeing is not representative of VR. What you're seeing through the image, however, is... well, the VR or the warning seems to have gone away, so hopefully that's fixed. Why the dislike for Afghanistan? Not actually a dislike so much for it. It's a fine map. It's just, it seems like 50% of the Sim EC matches are held on this exact same map. And I know there are others, but for some reason this map just keeps getting repeated. So I've flown... yeah, most of my Sim EC matches on this map at this point. So I'd like to see some of the other ones. I know there's one that I think it's based in China. It's got the stepped rice fields. That is really awesome in VR, and I've only ever seen it pop up once. So I'd like to see more. It was an Amiga game. Yes, it was. Yeah, I know the game you're talking about. I used to have it too. I used to have that one as well. Alright, so we're going to be doing a little bit of biplane action instead now. I flew this thing earlier today. I didn't like it much. I loved it in realistic battles, but it has a tendency to flat spin if you try and pull too hard on it in sim. It's a little uncomfortable to fly, actually. Nowhere near as maneuverable for a biplane as you would expect, and it's not particularly fast either, so... But it does have 4 guns, which is definitely working in its favour. Dead Meat Gaming, stream is smooth, this is on Gaijin's head. Don't play around with me, man, I can't tell if you're joking or not at the moment. Australian internet is worse than the South American one? Yes. Australian internet MBNco is that bad at this point that I am seriously considering switching off of MBNco and jumping over onto the Elon Musk's SpaceX satellite internet. It's offered in my area now, at least for limited numbers, and it's not that much more expensive, and they're offering twice the speed that MBNco has. So if they can hit half the numbers, I'm still going to be better off. Haven't chosen and done it yet. I want to see some tests for gaming and see exactly how it affects ping. I have been told the pings are actually lower, but I want to actually see the numbers myself. But yeah, I'm thinking I'd rather give money to Elon Musk than my own government and MBNco at this point in time for my internet. The servers have been dodgy lately. Yeah, they have been. That may have been what the problem is, because the ping's still red. It's still higher than I would expect, but network warning has gone away, and this is... Well, I can deal with, half a second of delay. I can counter for that. They haven't put enough coal in the server machine. Yeah, that does seem likely at the moment. I have to wonder, I don't know for sure, but with Gaijin's problems, then they never used to have server problems. It was one of the things. The game was always stable, and the servers were always stable. Now they're having server issues recently. I'm wondering whether or not they've changed their hosting service. Because obviously Gaijin won't have businesses all around the world in the different areas that host their server hubs. They'll be paying a third party to host their servers. I'm wondering if they've changed to, well, a cheaper option, because the server issues that they're having definitely feel like a cheaper option. Alright, so the cloud just ahead, just crossing over the river, we have two targets. One is heading just to the right and is smoking. Should be able to see tracer fire just ahead on the reticle. Can't tell who's who, but that seems to be the closest fight that we can get into at this point. And it is across the border. There's actually a few dots over here at the moment. Mission-wise, win air supremacy at D6, so that is the D6 one, and destroy enemy attackers at C4. So C4 is actually where we're heading, so that's good, because we'll get some extra points and hopefully get some of the bigger toys out. What do I want to get in Sweden? Everything. Same as always. Just grind up the tree, get to the low tier jets. I was hoping to get into a 3.3 match because I wanted to try the J22. I haven't flown it yet, but there's just nobody playing those matches at the moment. So we'll take this one. We'll see if we can do some... Actually, I can't remember which one it is. Let's see if we can fly the... sorry, the J21 is what I wanted to fly. The J22 is what I'll be trying to get into. And I haven't got my trim set right. No aileron trim control. Yeah, about 4 down, I think. Still a little nosy. 5. There we go. That's better. Thought I saw an aircraft off to the right flashing. It looks like it's just ground fire though. Got one high just off the right. I'm not sure what that is. And the dots ahead, that might be them over the mountains. Attackers are at B4, so yeah, the attackers are running, and we're probably not going to be able to catch them in this thing. But that's all right. I'm sure we can find somebody over here to fight soon enough. Dad, I could put up with Australian internet access. Well, it's really simple to put up with over here. It's all you've got. But as I said, Elon Musk might be changing that with his little satellite string around the world. So if that works and the lag is low, I can tell you right now, for how bad MBNco is screwed up, he's not going to be just getting me as a business. There will be a lot of Aussies that change over, because the difference in cost, at least for the plan that I was looking at, looked like it was about $10. So about $10 the difference for reliable internet going through a satellite string, and instead of giving money to the Australian government and for who own the network and NBNco, as well as an Australian provider, you're instead giving money to somebody who launches and lands rockets for a living. There will be a lot of people that will change over to that. He's going to wind up with a lot of Australian customers. Providing it works. It'll come down to how laggy it is, and satellite internet is notoriously laggy. Although, since his satellite chain apparently is in low Earth orbit rather than in geostationary, it may not be so bad, considering the lag that we already have to deal with, because we've got cables running all over the world that we've got to run through. It might actually wind up being the same or faster. Well, it's a biplane. I can tell that much about it. It might actually be another one like ours. Might be another J8. Just patrolling around looking for a fight. So I'll stay low and below his tail, see if I can catch him. I will not pay for premium anymore. That's fair. Yeah, that's a J6. Nicer plane to fly, a little bit slower. And somebody has smoke off our left. And they have definitely spotted us. 17 minutes of fuel left. So the question is, who are you that has smoke turned on at the moment? Yep, that is not a friendly. That is a chiker. And that's it. What the hell is he doing? Well, that hit. $10 says this guy hasn't realised that he's actually got his smoke on. There we go, he just worked it out. Also, I've got to ask, what is it with people making sim matches constantly choosing night lighting conditions? Or dark, shadowy conditions? I'm having real trouble spotting him against the ground here in the shadows. There he is. Whoa, shit. Target fixated. God damn it. And there goes my tail control. Yeah. I really don't like this plane. At least not in sim. I-16 Type 10. In sim, this thing has an overly sensitive rudder. It's really hard to get on target, and you can't throw it around like you do the other biplanes. If you give it too much rudder or give it too much turn, it'll flat spin, which is something that seems nuts. But yeah, this is the only thing I've got to work with at the moment. I don't know why I'm on satellite in northern Canada, not Elon's, and I get about 50 to 70 ping. But I don't know, it depends on what network you're on. I'm just talking general satellite internet is usually high. In my case, fixed wireless. I'm not sure what you were putting in there, Dead Meat, because I missed the rest of it. I can definitely see that, especially if he isn't using VR or TrackIR. Again, I'm missing part of a conversation here, so that's cool. I need VR as soon as possible. I think everybody does. At least if you're into flight simming. At the very least, even if, well, some people think they can't, I think you should, at the very least, give it a shot. I wish there were more places that would actually that knew what they were doing, that would do more demos of VR. So you could go in and, try it before, putting big money down on a headset. Because it's not cheap. It's not a cheap way to fly. But it really is the most immersive way to fly. And well, in my case, it completely counteracts my disability. So it's more than just immersive. It's rolling me back 10 years of visual degradation at least, and allows me to play and do things that I previously couldn't do without markers, and still can't do without markers if I take the VR headset off. So it looks pretty, but spotting is near impossible. Yeah, that's why I don't like it. I don't get me wrong, I don't mind evening or morning, but this is why I was groaning before about Afghanistan. If you get sunset or sunrise on Afghanistan with these mountains, half the map's in nighttime, and it's a pain in the ass. I'm your 30th like on this vid. Oh, thanks, mate. I hate prop sim. Wow, that's sad. Prop sim's okay. Prop sim's good. If I can't find more players to fight, or I'm going to be stuck flying this bloody thing for the rest of the night, I might change over to jet sim. But the plan was to grind some Swedes. Although I'm probably not going to grind too far in this, so we'll give it one more shot, and then I'll go see if we can find more people around the 3.3 running 3.3 matches. And if we can't, I will go over and find players that I will find people that I can actually fly against. Apparently I killed him too, so I got a kill out of that. Hang on, that means 196. Alright, so I need 450. Although I could have brought the B-17B out. That would have been better. I could have gone bombing. And the B-17B I actually really like. You know, for an attacker, it's actually a really cool aircraft. I like prop sim, but not biplanes. Biplanes are great fun. I like winding it back. At the moment, and IL-2, my favourite IL-2 mode at the moment is Flying Circus. World War I biplanes are just a barrel and a half of laughs. They're great. To be fair, I can't really identify anything in full daylight. Well, you know, there is that. I'm not going to say I can. Dead Meat Gaming, okay, I can go to sleep now. You died. Oh, you have a good night's sleep, mate. Try and have a good day at work in the morning too, eh? And we'll catch you tomorrow, and we're definitely going to fly some more this week. As I said earlier on in the stream, tomorrow I'm also going to start recording a playthrough of Project Wingman, but I'm only going to be playing it in VR. I haven't played it at all yet, so I'm going to do the entire storyline and gameplay in VR. I'm hoping it records okay, because I haven't even started it up yet. It's just installed and waiting for me, so I figure that should be a bit of fun. Alright, so we've got two going right to left, low altitude, just above, and one was firing at the other. One still is firing at the other, so there is definitely a fight going on there. The question is, who do we need to put guns on? Why the Swedes? Because there are only really two tech trees. I haven't done advanced grinding down at this point. And that's the Swedish tech tree and the Chinese tech tree, and I have zero interest in flying the Chinese tech tree because it's all copy-paste of planes that I've got unlocked in other places. The Swedish tech tree actually has some unique aircraft, and I want to give a shot at seeing whether or not I can, or how long it will take. How many matches will it take to unlock jets in using only Sim EC? So I was up to battle rating 2, which is really not that far in the tech tree before I started this. I unlocked 3 aircraft in about 3 hours earlier today on Twitch, just doing a match and a half of Sim EC. So I want to see exactly how long it'll actually take to get all the way to jets flying only in Sim. So that's why the Swedes, it's the only nation I have left that I can do this in. Alright, he's still there. On the upside, you can run this thing in wet permanently and it just doesn't care. Should probably trim it too. There he is. Now, what are you is the question. Can't quite tell, and I'm not far enough in to get the marker yet, so that could be a friendly yet. The sad bit is if he doesn't fly or maneuver, or doesn't start doing maneuvers, he's going to catch me. Oh, he's going to run away from me, rather. I'm not going to catch him. Not in this thing, even on wet. We're doing a grand total of 240 kilometers an hour in level flight at the moment. Speed machine. So here's the question: Bombardier, Learjet, or Dassault Falcon? Don't mind the Learjet. Don't know much about the Bombardier. The Dassault Falcon, if I want to attack a US Navy ship, as I believe it was the one that was used. Apparently the easiest one to weaponize. My biggest problem with DCS, I can't see anything. Yeah, DCS's spotting is the worst of all the flight sims. I've been playing through all of them, and spotting is obviously a big point for me with my eyes. War Thunder's the easiest. War Thunder, it's not even an effort to try and spot stuff. It's really easy. IL-2 is about what I'd expect. Realistically, this is without the enhanced markers, and they do have an enhanced marker marker option as well that apparently makes the spotting pretty similar to War Thunder's if you want to really make it easy. But most servers don't run it because it's a bit too easy for what's supposed to be a more serious sim. So, but its spotting is about what you would expect. I've had no problems with it, picking up ground targets, picking up air targets. Occasionally you get blindsided, but it's usually not a problem with the spotting. It's more usual that you're just not looking around the cockpit enough. Kind of like I'm not looking around the cockpit enough now, so somebody could fly up on my ass and shoot me and I wouldn't notice. But you get the idea. They're pretty good. DCS, you can be within visual range of a target. You can see the smoke trails coming out of the engines clearly defined down to a point that would be the entryway to both of the engines, and still not see the aircraft that's emitting the engine smoke. DCS's spotting is by far the worst of any flight sim. It's worse than Microsoft Flight Simulators, it's worse than X-Planes, it's worse than War Thunders, it's worse than IL-2s. Of every flight sim that I've played VR in so far, it is the singularly worst spotting that I have come across. They need to do some work on that. They're apparently doing another engine graphical update with the clouds in the next month or so. Hopefully they address it again, because their spotting at the moment is god awful, and part of the problem seems to actually be the last graphical update. I've sort of been looking at it, trying to work out why it's so bad, and what it seems to be doing, this is, I could be wrong here, but this is just my take on what I'm picking up and what I think is happening with DCS, is they're trying to do reflections on the aircraft at range, which is realistic. Reflective glints is very realistic. But they haven't quite got that worked out on how to do it just yet. We're playing follow the leader, trying to catch this guy here as well. So what they're doing is they're trying to reflect whatever there is, either the ground or the sky, whatever, depending on the angle you're on, obviously. But what's happening is it means that some of the pixels, which would be black, creating a dot like the ones you can see ahead of us, that is giving away an aircraft location, end up absorbing some of the color that is around them. So you're no longer trying to spot the silhouette of an aircraft, you're trying to spot a cloaked Klingon bird of prey, as the dot of the aircraft is absorbing the colours that are surrounding it in an attempt to create a reflection, and so it just disappears. The dot becomes even smaller than it already is, and it already is not particularly large. I think that's what's happening. So it just, hopefully it's something that gets addressed in the future, because it really does make close-in fights. Missile fights obviously doesn't make a difference. If you're flying AMRAAMs at BVR ranges, it makes absolutely no difference. But if you want to get into a knife fight, it becomes all sorts of a pain in the ass to try and spot stuff. Come on, be hostile and see me. Come on, spot me. I'm right here. I'm here! I'm over here! Do you see me now? Hey, that's an i16. That's what I'm after now. Oh, I'm probably going to lose this because he'll turn tighter than this thing in the long term. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. There's my blackout. Hooray for crappy G mechanics. Oh, anytime. And we got a biplane involved here too. That looks like a key. Actually, I'm almost positive that's a key 10. And there we go. There's the stall, and we're going to go into a black. Yep. And there's the flat spin. We're going to. And yep. Oh no, I'm going to be able to recover from that. It didn't enter a full flat spin. Nice. Yeah, I'm just getting turned around at the moment in this thing. The key 10 I absolutely cannot compete with. Actually, I think that's a... I take that back, it's not a key 10, that is a... That's Russian. Oh, there it goes. Again. And that one I'm not going to recover from. There we go. Yeah. That's I-15 rather. Yeah, I'm not going to fly that again. We're going to go find something else. I'm sorry, anybody who's a Swede fan. The J8 I really enjoyed in RB, and it's fun in arcade too, but everything kind of is. But the J8 in Sim has the title at the moment of the worst biplane that I have flown, and I've flown a few of them now. It is the worst handling bucket of shit in the game. The rudder is overly sensitive, it goes into flat spins, it can't maintain a turn, it loses lift and drops its wing all the time. It flies like an underpowered monoplane rather than a biplane. It's terrible. Yeah, I'm going to go see if we can find somebody in 3.3 now so I can actually fly the planes that aren't shit. Because the J22 is fantastic. Flight boy, I can't take off in Sim. How do you? Taking off's easy. Push the throttles forward and it'll take off. I'm not even being sarcastic with that either. That's... Yep, let's go back and find ourselves another room. Open a battle trophy. 7,500 costs some of the fixes some of the vehicle setup. Yeah, so we're not doing 2.0, and it looks, unless we'll exit back out and jump back in and see whether or not it refreshes. Room list. Nah, 2.0 limit again. It's not what I want. I've got a 3.0, a 3.3 in my lineup. I don't want a 2.0. Alright. Well, so much for grinding Swedes. I guess I'll have to come back when somebody's actually playing low tiers so I can get through this part. Although I find it surprising nobody's in 3.3. Find it real surprising that there's all in 2.0, no one's in 3.3. Well, how about some battle rating 9 US? What do you think? I'm just checking chat. I was going to say I only see planes when they're reflecting light, but otherwise it ain't happening. Yeah, they're going for light reflection in DCS, I'm pretty sure, but it's not working right, and half the time it's making the planes disappear rather than reflecting. Do you have to start your engine? Yes, I know that. When the throttle up, my plane goes right. Yeah, you've got to counter the torque. Rudder or trim left. J6B can almost compete with the HE51 i15s. The J6B I really like, but the problem is its top speed is terrible. It's really slow. But I don't mind the plane. It is much nicer to fly in sim. It just can't catch anything. When a Key 10 can outrun it, it's an issue. What else have you played with TrackIR and how sensitive? I have played every single flight simulation and quite a few non-flight simulation games that support TrackIR, including racing games, and I've been doing it for 8 years. I think I've had TrackIR for. How sensitive is it? As sensitive as you want it to be. You can completely customize the curves to your requirements. So you can make it turn more in one direction to the other. You can make it more sensitive, less sensitive, smoother or snappier. It's got a whole host of options that you can tune the movement to your personal taste. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna... No, we'll do this. We'll do this. Room list. Well, I'll take off here. The guys are giving you the right information there, as you. It's just counter rudder to counter the torque, and occasionally a bit of brake. Brake to only one side, not both. So make sure you have left and right brake bound. Don't rely on the press B to brake on both. So you'll want, if you're yawing to the right due to the torque when you throttle up, you'll want to brake on just the left wheel and rudder left to try and counter it until it stabilizes. The other thing you want to do is don't just punch the throttles to 100%. Bring them on gently so the torque rolls on more smoothly. Even though War Thunder doesn't model things 100% realistically, even that still applies here. If you slam the throttles to maximum, you will twist off right and it will spiral off right. If you bring it up gently, you'll have more time to control it and stabilize it and solve the problem. It looks like something out of Crimson Skies. Can you rank the top 3 planes for VR in War Thunder? I'll jump into this match first. We're 3-5, and we got an Afghanistan at 4-6. 4-6, nah, 4-6. 3-5 beating up on Italy. Looks like we're going to have to do this one, 4-6. That's right, we're fighting Russia. That's fair. Top 3 planes for VR in War Thunder. I do like my Tempest. The Tempest is fantastic fun. I will kick the teeth out of jets in my Tempest. My Banshee. The Banshee is fantastic to fly in VR. Just a really good plane in general. I'm probably going to be flying the Banshee here to earn some points in a second. And... I'd probably go with... you got me a bit stumped on the third one. If you want pure if I could give you the pure cheese answer, I should say the F11. But, that's more because of what it carries than actually being a great one to fly. Probably the Zero. I really like the Zero, but the Zero, don't get me wrong, if you're somebody who suffers from slight motion sickness, the Zero will give you motion sickness if you try and fly it. Alright, engines temp up. And brakes on for launch. And throttle up. And release brakes. A little wobbly on the nose here, but that's War Thunder zero traction runways. I'm really surprised they haven't fixed that, actually. That's been a thing for as long as War Thunder has been a thing. I'm really surprised they haven't put at least some kind of contact traction. just to stop the sliding around on ice feeling that you tend to get whenever trying to take off or land on a runway in War Thunder. Although it would prevent you from being able to do the massive 300 kilometer an hour drifts down the runway, which are sometimes quite amusing. Back off 94, that'll be fine. Should probably check what's going on here. Alright. So we have a air superiority objective ahead. That's probably the first place we want to go. The ROC even had an indigenous gull-wing design during World War II. My Calc AB class audio is cutting in and out, and I'm just watching the stream. On the joys of online learning. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I finished up my degree in the lockdown last year, so it wasn't so bad. Looks like something out of Crimson Skies. Not sure what your... Which... Ah, the XP1. Yeah. Actually, the Crimson Skies came up on the earlier stream today as well. I really wish somebody would... Microsoft would remember they have that IP and would get access to Gaijin's engine, because the engine for War Thunder is perfectly fine, especially for that type of game. And just make a new... Let's make a new Crimson Skies, please. I'm not asking much. You know, 2 targets low over here at the moment. Now, are they friendlies or are they attackers? Got some pretty wicked cloud on this map today as well. I'm liking this. This is good. We have cloud cover. This is going to be fun to fight in. I tried to take off like I do in DCS, but War Thunder is not cooperative at all. The mechanics function the same way. The only thing you need to realise is that War Thunder has never modelled proper traction on the runways, so you'll tend to slide and slip more. It's not uncommon on some of the more torquey, super high-powered prop aircraft in War Thunder. If you actually watch yourself on a replay, even when you think you're driving down the runway in a straight line, lifting up the tail and getting ready to take off, for you to actually find that you're moving right or left at like a rate of 5 or 6 degrees because of the torque, you're actually sliding sideways as you take off because there's no lateral traction to keep you in a straight line, because Gaijin's never modeled it. It's so you just got to keep into account the fact that you haven't got traction to sort of pull your aircraft into a straight line, and you have to do it yourself, basically manhandle it a bit on the ground. And when you do that, it's okay. You can deal with it. It's arcadey, and it allows you to do some truly stupid takeoffs if you want to, but it functions. We got one that's down below us here at the moment, so I'm going to cut across the top, and we're going to do a rollover. I can't see what that is. Looks silver. That's an AI. Oh, and instruments. And clear of the soup. Alright, back to level, and let's go keep on the hunting. We'll back it off to about 90% so we don't melt the engines. We've got some left. And check mission objectives. Air superiority at D3. Protect allied attackers. Protect allied convoy. I'm not protecting Jack. I'll go and do the air supremacy objective. Although that's going to end this match. But yeah, screw it. We're not going to do the air supremacy objective. I don't want the match to end straight away. I want to hunt someone. How to make a mag stall? Ask him a top 3 question. You had to tweak the sensitivity a lot more than in DCS. Yeah, that's just normal. All my games, I have exactly the same control setup, but I do tweak the sensitivity in the sims based on what they are. The only one I have to constantly retweak a little bit is IL-2, and that's because I'm switching between biplanes and World War II aircraft. And I could probably get away with not doing that, but I do like to make sure I've got the controls nice and sharp. It's got the shakes on at the moment. It's only doing 760. Come on, this thing does 900. A smoker. And one that rolled off underneath. I'll keep on the smoker here and we'll see what it is. It's probably an Allied plane trying to get back to base, but still it's worth checking. I'm honestly surprised with how late in the game this appears to be that we haven't been hit by missiles yet. I think that's going to be AI. Yeah, that's AI again. Bloody AI everywhere. Alright, let's just punch for altitude. Alright, so now here we are in Australian vision. Just keep practicing. Every aircraft has their own characteristics. Some require a tad longer to learn how they handle. Well, that is the truth. And that's really the key to sim. It doesn't really matter what sim, whether it's War Thunder, whether it's DCS, whether it's IL-2. That's the true key to sim. It's just time. The more practice you have in an aircraft, the more you'll learn its characteristics. Once you know its characteristics, you'll learn how to exploit those characteristics into combat performance. And at that point, you go out and you start kicking people's ass, and there's nothing they can do about it. And if you don't know the planes particularly well, you're probably going to get your ass kicked. That's also the way it works, because the person you're fighting against, they probably know their plane particularly well. And it looks like the mission just ended. Yeah, mission accomplished. God damn it. Hey, MiG-98, how's it going, mate? War Thunder now and then when I was in the mood for some quick action. It's not even close to DCS, but it's okay and it's free. Yeah, well, look, there's no point in putting the comparison between the two. It's not as good as DCS. It's not as good as IL-2. But what War Thunder is really good at, and I've said this a couple of times on streams, it's very good for pick up and put down play. I don't need to organize an event. I don't need to run through and wait for a server to be packed out. I can just jump into a room, load up the list, see what missions are there, put in an appropriate aircraft lineup that's available for it, jump in and go. That's it. Into a match, couple of minutes. Battle already in progress. It's only been going for 22 seconds. I don't like the whole gang up on Italy, although it does have 2 players on Italy, and they do have some decent aircraft. Although most of them are American. I'd rather a wider mix. Do we have anything else further down? Rua. Oh, that's a good 7-7. Do I have my German lineup set up? No, I don't. Hang on. Ha ha ha. Do I want to add anything to that? Nope, it's fine. Let's do this one. This'll do. So long as you're having fun, that's the point of these games. Exactly. It's laid back, it's enjoyable, it's no stress, and it's very easy to pick up and put down. And it's easy to people to get into. You don't have to have quite the sim experience. Oh, of course, 162 is actually a Yeah, let's go to 600 meters convergence, and we want a full tank of fuel. 162 is actually a no point score to actually deploy this one, so I can jet straight out of the box. I love this thing. Used to be great fun in RB, and then Gaijin broke it with flight model changes, and I haven't been able to enjoy it, and I've kind of been sad because I do like the 162. I think this thing is really fun and it's really cute, and it works fine in sim. He said he was talking to Microsoft about making a new Crimson Skies in 2017, but I don't think anything was said since. In 2017, there wasn't really that big a focus on aircraft stuff, but with Microsoft Flight Simulator coming out and there being a sudden resurgence of interest in flight simulation and flight games in general because of it, and the new console generation coming out, now would be a really good time for a joystick control, a proper sim style, sim light like War Thunder. We're not talking, might have to keep combat flaps on if I want to actually clear this mountainside here. Come on, I think I can. There we go. I'll do some level flying to get up some speed. Now might actually be the time for them to start looking at that. They might actually be able to, why the interest is in aircraft is hot. Now would be the push for it. But you've got a lot of people into planes, and Crimson Skies would be a fun little universe to bring back. And there's a lot of. I didn't put up my gear, did I? I didn't put up my gear. That's all right. I don't need that to land anyway. It's fine. Yeah, it'll. There's a lot of people with sim hardware floating around because of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and there's a lot of people getting into VR. VR is sold out all over the place. Well, flight sims are a perfect platform for VR. There's a lot of things going on at the moment to do a really cool Crimson Skies game. Just somebody with the know-how needs to make a push for it. Mag, strap a cup to your mouth and you'll get the masked effect. There's actually a plug-in for Stream Deck that I can put on that will allow me to control a voice modulator so I can have the radio effect live if I wanted to. It would take me half an hour to set up tops. What is up with Twitch? Usually where I catch you War Thunder, not on YouTube. YouTube stream test basically? Yes. Kind of like that, except kind of no. I did the that's an Arado. Okay, let's take some altitude while we've got it. I did the question in the community section. Where would you prefer me to stream? Twitch or War Thunder? Twitch or YouTube? And the answer was very, very heavily YouTube. So I was always going to switch over here. I just for at least the flight sim stuff. I think the YouTube channel, or the Twitch channel rather, might become for things that are non-flight sim related. But the YouTube streams were always going to be a thing for flight sim after that questionnaire or that poll, because that's what you guys wanted. But I had to set a few things up to make those happen. Unfortunately, YouTube just doesn't let you stream out of the box. There's a few pieces of paperwork they want you to fill in and a few options you've got to select, and then a little bit of an approval process for a couple of things. You can stream without it, but there's limits on what you can do, and I wanted to make sure everything was all up and running on the channel properly. So yeah, I did the stream test to see if it worked a while ago with the TIE Fighter stream. This is probably how I'll be doing War Thunder for the most part from this point on. If you guys are happy with the 720 live streams and then getting 1080p highlights later, that is, of course. Because that's what I'm doing. All of this is getting recorded, and then I'll cut together a 1080p high quality version later that you can check out. Now, we have one just above us here. Turning in low from behind, and let's see if we can get a target check. We're definitely faster than he is. That is definitely not German. How are those not hitting? Jesus. Oh, they were hitting. And that's one Scorpion done. 92 cannon rounds remaining. So I mean, 162 is so much better in Sim. Quit panicking, mate. You look German to me. Only problem is 92 cannon rounds. It is little anemic when it comes to ammunition, unfortunately. Voice is clipping hard versus the game. Okay, I will have a look at that in just a moment. No, hang on. That's an IL-28, isn't it? I thought that was an Arado, but that is an IL-28. Ah, that thing's going to be a prick to follow. You shouldn't have pulled the trigger, buddy. Your mouse aim spray there. I thought you were an Arado. I mis-ID'd you and I would have left you completely alone. You would have had no troubles from me. Although, to be fair... No, it's a JU-88, so I did misidentify it, but it's still German. How do you misidentify... Wait. JU-288. How do you misidentify a 162? It is the tiniest and most identifiable profile that you could potentially have. Alright, I mis-ID'd you twice, but Jesus... I can never really get into Armored Core and those sorts of third-person mech games. I liked Armored Core. I didn't like the Mech Assault games so much. Although they weren't terrible. I bought them. I enjoyed them. They were okay. But they were sort of something else rather than Mech Warrior, and I didn't like them as much. I would, again, now hopefully the Battletech IP is going to be up for grabs by somebody who's competent. Like to see a Mech Warrior 6 that isn't shit. Again, 234, Arado. Again, VR support would be really nice on that, and I would like it's the... actually, you know what? Micropose is back. I think I've said this before, Micropose is back, and arguably the nicest Mech Warrior game that was ever made was Mech Warrior 3, which was done by Micropose, or the most sim-like Mech Warrior game. I would be perfectly fine with them having another crack at that IP if they wanted to. In fact, I would be quite happy with that. Hey, Brox TV, hello Mags, off to work. You enjoy the rest of your day, man? Yeah, will too. Well, my day's long over. It was past midnight before I started streaming. It's probably 1:30 at the moment, so that's alright. I'll fly a little bit of this and then we'll call it quits, because I haven't had a chance to get a video up on the channel, unfortunately, because I have been busy. Real life is kicking my ass, ladies and gentlemen. There is only so many hours in the day. Alright, 2 targets ahead. They're high. We'll see exactly what they are in a second. Sad no one ever talks about Aces High 3. There has been a small surge in people coming back. It's because I've flown it. I think we've spoken about it before, Lancer. It's not very good. That's the issue. I've seen arguments about it having the best flight modelling around. I fly IL-2, both of them, and DCS. Honestly, I didn't think Aces High's flight modelling was much better than War Thunder's. So, yeah, it might be better than War Thunder's, but that's about it. And it's a $15 a month subscription. So you basically, it's not free. So it's a game that really is, it's War Thunder Sim, but only War Thunder Sim. But you got to pay $15 a month if you want to play it permanently. Well, no. Basically, no. I have no interest in paying a subscription service for a game that is maybe a smidgen better in flight modeling than the one I can play for free, and it costs me nothing. That's Aces High's problem. That's if Aces High wants to get popular and be able to, show up on people's radars, that's the first thing they need to get rid of. Subscription services are not popular. And it is, frankly, having played it, not worth a subscription service. It's not worth $15. They need to either drastically alter the game to make it worth a fixed price to buy, like IL-2, or they need to go free to play. Right, 18 minutes of fuel remaining. We're still, if we don't find a target soon enough, sort of surprised we've got no attackers coming into this section at the moment. Well, we might head over to the air superiority objective, see what's there, and if nothing pops up, we'll, although 92 cannon rounds, it might be worth just going back for a runway. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to break off. I'm going to go back to the runway, put down point score 150, 130. I could bring a 262 out. Go for something a little bit heavier. We've got too low over here at the moment. I want to check these. There would normally be attackers running in because we've got soft targets all over the place. So that's why I'm patrolling around here at the moment. I'm waiting to see somebody to pop through and try and bomb them all, because the whole area is just infested with essentially ground targets to hit. But there's no one here. Although, that most certainly looks like someone. They are probably going down. If not, I'll check them next. Let's check you. And that is an AI. There is a blackout. Continue turn through. Pull through the blackout. And into a low pass. And I'm not seeing a target through the glare, so I'm guessing one of those smoke pillars there is actually our enemy, or our second target. Alright, so one more high and right, and we'll check it and then we'll go land. Hopefully it's a bomber coming in to actually hit one of the runways. If not, it's going in the general direction that we need to go to land regardless. If Micropose made a new mech sim, I'd die. Micropose is back, and they're people behind Task Force Admirals. Talk about a blast from the past. Well, yes and no. They are the people publishing Task Force Admirals. That is a B-17. Oh, shit. Oh, no. I'm going to need more ammunition for this shit. Great. Could have been anything else. No. Fucking Fortress. Alright. Fair enough. See what we can do with this. I'm going to bomb the airfield anyway. It's already doing a run. So I need to pick up as much airspeed as I can because I need to get on this thing from a really high angle. And he's watching me on those third-party third-person mouse aim view guns now. Fucking scrub lord bomber pilots. Once again, we're in the twilight, so he's a pain in the ass to spot against the ground. There he is. Thank you, anti-aircraft gunners. Now, was that enough to actually steal the B-17G from the anti-aircraft guns? Yes, it was. Thank you very much. Alright, that's it. That was cheeky as shit. Let's go back and land. Probably not this runway. I'll go for the one in the backfield. Alright, so we'll go shallow down. Alright. Hi Mags, what's your suggestion for the best or easiest BR or nation for starting sim in War Thunder? Honestly, one that you like. It's really is that. There is no easiest nation, there is no easiest way to get into really any sim, but the easiest way to enjoy it the best and have the most fun learning it is to fly something that you like. It doesn't really matter what that is. Just have a look at the BR blocks and understand that the BR ranges that you're used to from AB and RB are not the same as how they work in sim. In sim, you have a match where you'll have a battle range that'll have a maximum BR and a minimum BR, and you must have aircraft that are within these two requirements. You cannot have any aircraft that are above the listed maximum BR. You can have any aircraft you want below that maximum BR. And the way it works, say this match here is 7.7 maximum. So 7.7 is the highest BR that's available. No aircraft above 7.7 can come into this match. Period. You will never face an aircraft higher than 7.7. But you can bring a battle rating 5 aircraft in if you want, but battle rating 5 aircraft won't have a spawn cost. So I've got a 5.3 D13. It won't cost me anything to bring into a match. Or it'll cost me some Silver Lions to deploy, because all aircraft have a Silver Lions cost to deploy in Sim EC. But it won't cost me any spawn points, so I can bring it out right at the start of the match. I can also bring out anything up to 6.7. And that threw me completely off my landing. Oh, fine, I'll U-turn it back around and we'll come in again. I can bring out anything up to 6.7, and it won't have a spawn cost. But between 6.7 and 7.7, everything will require you to have completed at least some kind of an action within the match in order to have earned points to bring the planes in. And because of this, you get blocks where, like this here, 7.7 jets, it's only World War II and some very slight post-war aircraft. There's no missiles here, there's no supersonics, there's no MiG-15s or F-86 Sabres. It's all stuff that is fairly comparable, so it's a really great tier to fly in. Once you understand that, find a block that you like and just some aircraft that you enjoy flying within that block. And that's right, I don't have an undercarriage on this one at the moment, so we'll just belly land it. And yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. After that, just practice. Enjoy flying. You'll probably get shot down a lot. Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll shoot a few people down before you die. If you have a bit of misfortune with your takeoffs and landings, don't be afraid of going into test flight mode and practicing takeoffs and landings in test flight. Just doing the normal War Thunder shake and pull trick for landings. Right, let's go to landing flaps, which are basically air brake mode. We're still going to be a little bit faster on this touchdown than I would really like, but gently down and keep it balanced. No, keep the wing up. Beautiful. Fix my plane. Got you about the subscriptions, but they only have like 3 people run the game, and that's the only issue that they have to go through free to play. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter how many people are running it or what the excuse is. It's simple as that. And people are not going to play $15 a month for a War Thunder that's sim only for marginally better flight models. They'll pay $40 and they'll get IL-2 Great Battles, Battle of Stalingrad, or even cheaper on a discount, and they'll go fly that, and they won't have to pay a subscription service, and they get sim-rated flight models. And that's its issue. It's asking for a subscription service for something that is either available for free or a better version of it is available for a once-off payment that's only slightly higher than the cost of the subscription service for 1 month. Or if you get it on, as I said, you get it on one of the big sales, they've been selling IL-2 Great Battle Stalingrad for about $15, so you can pick it up for the cost of it. Is it harder to look behind you in VR versus normal head tracking? Well, yes and no. If I want to look behind me hang on, I can actually show you. Let's do that. If I've done this right, you should be able to see my ugly mug right now. If I want to look behind me, I have to turn my head. I actually have to lean out and look. Turn my ugly mug back off again. That's the main difference. If you don't like leaning around, or you're not used to doing head checks in cars, you're not used to... Okay, the engines are already on. I didn't start them that time, I don't think. You're not used to doing that kind of stuff. It'll bother you, probably. But otherwise, no, not really. I actually find it's not bad for fitness either. Funnily enough, VR is actually really good for working on your personal fitness, which is good, because I'm in the process of trying to stop being a fat cunt, which I currently am. And, it's helping. I'm basically doing neck muscle exercises and back exercises and stretches all day. Alright, let's go combat for lift. And wheels up. Let's not smash the undercarriage off the plane this time. Little things you notice too. In VR, you can lean around the cockpits better, so you can check out things that TrackIR won't normally allow you to see. So you realise you've actually got a way of checking to see the status of your undercarriage. That hole in front of the stick right there, that's the wheel bay. You're looking directly into the wheel bay of the 162. So when I drop the gear later on to come in for a landing, you'll see the wheel fold out and you'll be able to see the ground underneath the aircraft. Hi Mags, sorry if this was already asked or I missed it, but I was curious if you've flown the new Grinanali F-22 Mark II yet, and if so, what you think of it. No, I haven't actually flown that mod in DCS yet. I've got a list of mods that I've got to go through. I've got to check out the new version of the Skyhawk. I've got to check out the C-130 mod. I haven't flown it yet. I asked for a C-130 for years. Modders have finally given it to me, and I haven't flown it. I'm a total arsehole, and I'm fully aware of that. So, yes, I want to fly. I want to check that one out. And I definitely want to check out the new the new F-22, because apparently they've got, I'm not sure, was it they got cockpit integration, or they managed to design custom MFDs for it? They did something in the cockpit that recreates the F-22 better. So I definitely want to check that one out. It's actually harder since it's 1-1 movement by default. Well, it depends. It's just a matter of, throwing yourself around. At the moment, a VR is incredibly expensive in my country. Oh, it's expensive everywhere. It's not just a country thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm fully aware that VR is, for the moment, out of a lot of people's price brackets. That's unfortunate. But I think we're reaching the point now where it's starting to drop in price to the point where it's only just in that category. Like any enthusiast product, a new enthusiast product, the first iterations for it are going to be stupidly expensive and extremely hard to get. But as time progresses, it's going to become more and more accessible, and VR is starting to drop down in cost and become more available to more people. They're working out cheaper and more efficient ways of making it, and computer tech, as always, is getting more powerful and getting more designed for it. So you're getting a better result out of the hardware you're getting as well. I think we're reaching the point now where, like in the past, I've covered it as a novelty, but now I want to cover VR, especially Flight Sim VR, exclusively, because we're reaching the point now where we're not far out of the way of this becoming sort of the norm for people. You know, the next iteration, at the moment, we're starting up on the sort of the next generation of headsets. The G2 is one of them. Oh, I take it you are a hostile. So, let's have a shot shooting style. Let's see what you've got. You've definitely got speed on me by a shitload. Jesus. You are booking. I was still trying to climb out from the runway here. Careful, don't compress. Not quite in a good enough spot for guns, but I'll follow you now. God, you're going steep in on those dives, aren't you? I can't just... I'm nearly cooking the engines here on the roller coaster, so I can't keep pushing that. But we're nearly getting it. I'm not sure why he's continuing this at the moment. I would have broken far away from me at this point. Still short. I gotta pull too hard and high for the deflection shot at the moment. Why are you turning like this is a biplane fight for? You will never turn inside of me. It doesn't matter what you do, you are never going to beat the inside of the turn. But all I gotta do, I have to straighten the turn on you, because I'm not going to get close enough to get a decent deflection on you. I should have done this with the sun at my back, or the sun at his back rather. It would have been easier on the spot. So low and fast. He's going to pick us up, or has he lost me? Second aircraft coming in from behind. I don't know if it's friendly or not. And we lost a lot of speed then. Damn it, I lost him. I know he was banking over the left here. $198. Where did he go? There. Cheeky shit. Nice work. Nice work. Well done. Bloody well done. Oh, I'm starting to wish I brought the 262 now. That extra engine power would be really bloody useful. No. Misjudged his dive under the nose. Yeah, and not climbing up to you, buddy. I want you to come around and fight me on the flats. Come on. Take away that dive from you. This is the other thing, when looking around the cockpit in VR, you don't just turn your head. You maneuver the aircraft with your attempt to look. So if you want to check over your shoulder, you kick the rudder pedals. And you yaw the plane to open up a better vision out the rear. Or if you want to look down, you don't try and look down past anything, you roll the aircraft to open yourself up a spot. The aircraft doesn't have to remain fixed. Damn it. Where did he go? That's a smoke pillar right there. He didn't just tank it, did he? I didn't see anything pop up on the feed. Either he did some creative turning and just disappeared right in front of me, or he ate shit then. And if he did, I'm kind of disappointed. Alright, I guess we'll go look elsewhere then. I'm on a 3080 right now, Mags. Yes, I am. Yeah, this is the new rig now that we've built up to. So this is a 5900X, Ryzen 9 5900X, 64 gig of 32 megahertz RAM, and the 3080. It was the machine I've been saving for since the 2080 was released, and I just happened to try and buy at the worst possible time to buy hardware, but I managed to get all the bits. It took 4 or 5 months to get it all together, from the time I ordered the parts to the time that they all arrived, but you know, in total across all the bits, but they're all here now. My mic sounds a little bit peaky. Probably need to knock the gain down a bit. Yeah, I might have to make an adjustment on that. It could be the mic as well, because I'm not using my boom mic here. This is using the Audion mod mic. The standard mic in the G2 is not particularly great, and I need something that tracks my head as I'm looking around in VR. So I've gone over to a mod mic, which is sort of somewhere between a studio quality mic. Another 162, it's alright. Sorry. Yeah. Mis-ID or misread there. It's somewhere between a studio mic and the highest quality integrated boom mics on headsets. It sits somewhere in the middle. It does require a lot of tuning though. It wouldn't surprise me if I've got a little bit too much gain on it at the moment. Ryan, what am I flying? Yeah, HE162. I do have a bad tendency of just devolving into turn fights out in sim, although it's a habit I've been trying to grow out of. A lot of people do. I try and use that when I can. I couldn't really take an advantage of it then, because the problem with the 162, I love the plane, but it is lacking a little in the horsepower department. And if nothing else, that P80 pilot, he was holding energy well and had his speed on. In fact, that's probably why he ate shit. If that was his smoke pile there, he likely put it into a dive to build up as much speed as he possibly could to open the gap, and overcompressed the elevator and couldn't pull out of the dive. I've been using Smooth Track on my phone, and so far it's been pretty smooth after I set everything up, although there is definitely a little bit of delay from the internet connection. I have been recommending Smooth Track as an alternative to TrackIR for something that's a little bit cheaper for those that are looking for a head tracking option. So yeah, it's good to know. If you've got any more information you want to pass on to anybody about that, please let them know in the chat. I'm looking for any options. Like TrackIR I recommend out of ease of use, and it is a great solution, but it's not cheap. For what it is very expensive. So if there are cheaper options around, Smooth Track seems to be one of the good ones at the moment. I am not above making sure that they're recommended and people know about them. Also, obviously, the your free track options, building your own headsets, requires a lot of setup and a little do-it-yourself know-how. But if you happen to have that, that's 154. Okay, I've got a smoke trail over here. I'm not sure what this is. And that's just an AI. Oh, we've got 14 minutes of fuel and 174 cannon rounds. I guess I check... That doesn't look friendly. I'll give it that much, although I lost it there over the clouds. Oh, over the... Is that it? No, that's a tracer. Over the trees. Where'd that go? That looked like it could have been a Thunderjet. No idea. Alright, we'll just, alright, 30 minutes of fuel left, still on 174, I'll just do a quick ID check here. That is still an Allied aircraft, okay, so let's head towards their lines and see what we can find. There must be a solution to phone tracking with USB-C connection. Maybe. I don't know enough about Smooth Track, to be honest. That would be something to experiment with. For $10 it's pretty good, better than when I strap my phone to my head. Pretty much the same as mine, more RAM and more CPU, though mine is a 5800X goes to... Yeah, the 5800 and 5900, there's not a lot of difference between them. Same speed on the same speed on the cores. The main reason I went for the 5900X was video processing and post-processing and some of my graphic design stuff. It's a little bit better as a workstation PC, and I need a machine that can do both. If I find the time, which I really need to make the time, to do my sort of office walk around, it's a bit of a mess at the moment, but you'll see I've actually got my system set up so I have a height adjustable desk that I can turn into a standing desk or have it as a sitting desk. What I do is I wind it up to full when I'm doing my graphic design and either have a standing or a proper sitting office desk. When I go to do my sim stuff, I have a sim pit. It's actually a Next Level Racing. That's their top pit. I'm going to do a bit of a video on it because I'm going to be doing some modifications to this one. But I've got a Next Level Racing sim pit that has all my hardware attached to it. And what I do is I pull it into position where the office chair would normally sit, and then I wind the desk down to its lowest point, and it turns the whole combination into a sim pit. which is where I'm at the moment, then I can pull it all back out and convert it all back to an office for graphic design or for video editing or whatever else that I need to be doing. So I have options to change the way my office is actually going to work, because I only have one computer and I need it to be able to do multiple jobs for multiple different things that I'm covering. So my entire office is designed around that interchangeability based on what I need. So yeah, but that was, anyways, long answer to that's why I got the 5900. I need it for the workstation capability. Probably a bit too close to the mouth. Well, that I can fix easy enough without going in and screwing with the audio settings. See if that's any better. For the price of TrackIR, I'm on my way to buying a VR headset, to be honest. Yeah, that's the problem with TrackIR. I don't think the TrackIR guys have realised exactly what they've got and how much it's actually worth these days. When TrackIR was the only reliable head tracking software solution and people were using PS2 cameras with red cellophane in order to try and build a free track alternative, yeah, they could probably get away with asking that much. But now you can buy a $10 phone app that does the job of TrackIR, or you can throw a little bit more at it and you can get if you don't mind dealing with the Facebook integration, you can get something like an Oculus Quest 2, which is, by all accounts, a really good little headset, and you can get an adapter for that, so it doesn't even need a cable. It runs off an internal battery pack. It can be completely independent of the PC if you want it to be, while still playing PC games. So you can go full wireless with that. So yeah, they need to sort of consider what they've got, and they either need to improve the solution drastically to warrant the cost, or they need to drop the price. Because right now the only reason I recommend TrackIR at all, and I generally don't recommend it as an option, but I will recommend it for those that are not particularly computer savvy and don't have the do-it-yourself skills for building custom units themselves. In that case, the one thing TrackIR does have going for it is you plug in the IR sensor, you put the clip on a hat, put the hat on your head, and you're done. It works out of the box. There's settings there you can tweak if you feel like it and if you want to have a look at them and see what they do, and a big default button that you can hit if you mess anything up and you don't like what you changed. It's very user-friendly, very plug-and-play, and requires almost no effort to set up, and it integrates with everything seamlessly. So there's no effort making it work. So that's the one thing TrackIR still has going for it. Almost went DIY tracking solution, but honestly it would be both still quite a bit more expensive and time consuming than SM Track. Kind of chunky headgear. Well, there's a few DIY solutions around there. The common one at the moment for free track is using a PS3 camera, which you can get second-hand off eBay for 9/10 of fuck all, and you take off a filter in it or add a filter to it. I can't remember how this goes. I've never actually done this, so I'm working off memory on the combination of things here. And then you just buy your infrared reflector tape that you can get from just about any army disposals, and you cut 3 pieces of it down and you put it on your hat to create a triangle on the front of your hat, and that's it. It works. It requires a bit of the setup with the software. I'm going to put this one down. A little bit of setup with the software, but otherwise it just works. But it is a little bit more involved because you do need to make a modification to the camera and make sure the camera is talking to the software. So it shouldn't be that expensive, and it shouldn't require much in the way of bulky headgear. You know, basically the general head tracking piece for the reflectors that is common amongst most of the IR tracking solutions is literally a baseball cap. I've got one that I've used for years, which is actually the Playboy Bunny VX4 cap that I've got. which is the VX4 flight testers, the ones that did the first tests on the Tomcat A. You would have seen an F-14 Tomcat that was jet black with a white Playboy bunny on the tailplane. That was VX4. That was their test aircraft to flight test and approve the F-14 before it went to active service with the US Navy. So I've got one of their caps, and that's what I use for my TrackIR cap. Alright, let's go to landing, because I need to slow down a little here. Because this time I'm actually going to put it down on wheels. I just ended up going with the phone app for convenience. Well, yeah, that's why I'm suggesting it to everybody at the moment. The Face Track app, if it works as well as I've been told, is probably an even better option, and it costs like, what, 10 or 14 bucks or something? So, and you've already got the hardware for it. It's your phone. You just got to put it somewhere where it can see your face. That's a far better option, and a significantly cheaper one if it's an option. And there we go, that's what I was talking about. You see the gear lowering down in front of the wheel. It's stuff like that you won't see on normal head tracking. Looking around cockpits in VR is really cool. A little harder than I would have liked, but it'll do. And back stick to elevator brake. What do I do for work? Well, for 8 years I've been doing YouTube. This is what I've been doing for work. But I completed my degree in graphic design last year. I went back to school, and I've actually been back in school for the last 4 years. So I'm starting my own graphic design business at the moment. I am doing some local stuff, and I'm also starting up I'm using Teespring as the basis for it at the moment as sort of the merch section for this channel, but I'm starting up a series of designs for aircraft. I'm going to start my own online store for aviation and, well, for the start, aviation and military themed like apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, that kind of stuff. Some of them are already on my Teespring store, which should be in the video description down below underneath this if I've done it right. And actually, no. We'll shut this one down this time. Engine off. We'll leave the plane. We've got bugger all time left, so we'll drag out the 262. I was hoping to get enough for the 229, but we'll deal with the 262 for the moment. 600. Yeah, that's alright. I'll leave that. Alright, power up these engines. Whoa, 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 no. 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 Let's try at least 30 minutes of fuel, shall we? Alright, engines powering up. Just let them start spooling. Yeah, I'm doing I'll start off with aviation themed clothing, as well as wall prints and stuff as I get more designs done. But then I'm going to also flick over into automotive based stuff, custom cars. It's just this headpiece again here. Cool. Car related stuff and gaming related stuff where I can, although I've got to be really careful of copyright on that one. I'd like to do a lot of gaming stuff, but yeah, copyright's a bitch. And I don't want to break any rules. I know a lot of people do, but I actually don't want to, because I want this to be a long-term thing. And getting copyright strikes and cease and desists is a good way to make sure that never happens. There we go. All right, let's release the brakes. Hey, Mission Surfer. Not much, mate. What's up? Hopefully the 262 in a few moments. Anytime now. Alright, fair enough. Let's go combat flaps and I'll get you up myself. Runway's a little short, but it's fine. Gear up. Kind of interested in that kind of desk to give me raw room for VR stuff. Well, yeah, I used to have a massive V-desk. That was what I used to have back in the day. But it took up a huge amount of my office. And the office that I'm running out of is it's just a small, it's the third bedroom in the house. And it's a small bedroom. There's, it doesn't have a huge amount of space to play with to begin with. So I needed to find a way to make the space more compact to allow for a sim rig, because I always wanted one. I also wanted enough room to do some basic room space stuff in VR. So I put that concept together. I actually got the desk a year ago, long before I got VR, but that was part of the reason for it. I also need room. I wanted the ability to use it as a standing desk, because I am trying to get my weight under control at the moment, and sitting on one's ass all day is not a great way to do that. So at least standing, moving around, that helps, along with other things. And but basically I wanted to shrink the size of what was needed to actually put all the hardware on and allow more space to have other things in here. Like, I've still got a draftsman's desk I want to bring in, because I need something that's a little bit more appropriate for doing pen and paper work rather than digital work and so on. But yeah, I went for a fairly basic office built height adjustable, and it's made a wondrous change. Also, the entire office is basically floor lit. I'm using the roof light at the moment just for tracking, but I've changed it around for floor lighting, which is better for my eyes. So that's the other thing. My office is customized to account for my disability, so that I put less strain on my eyes over time. And 2 targets off right. We are definitely getting what looks like anti-aircraft fire on that middle one, so that is going to be my target. We are nearly out of points here. It's a shame. The Scorpion might be my only kill in this. Well, that and the sneaky B-17 that I nabbed, but I'm not sure it entirely counts. That was just being a cheeky prick. The price is €210 for that thing. I'm assuming you're talking about TrackIR. Yeah, as I said, it's for what it is way overpriced these days. I'm not arguing that at all. I got one when I got mine. A TrackIR 5 was the new TrackIR on the market. Are you going down? I don't know if you're going down or not. You're not shooting at me, so I assume you're done. Nope, you're still shooting. You're not done, you cheeky shit. Now you're done. It looks like AAA's getting that kill, but fair, and to be fair, AAA probably earned it. Oh, the guns on this thing don't mess around. I do love those 30 mils. It's like hitting them with sacks of concrete. It's great. Mission Surfer, why are VR headsets so expensive? Well, the G2 that I'm wearing at the moment is $1,000 Australian. I'm not sure what that'll translate into euros. It'll probably be less. But the reason why is because this is essentially a 4K monitor that I have strapped to my face that also has a series of cameras around the outside of it that can track a room without external inputs. That also have the ability to simultaneously track two controllers that are not wired into the headset inside of a 3D space, and your movement inside of a 3D space, allowing you to move around all at once, entirely on hardware, running through a relatively thin cable. So for your price comparisons, you need to consider something like a G2 against what it would cost you to buy a high quality 4K monitor, and then consider it's a 4K monitor that essentially has TrackIR built in. Yeah, they're new technology. They are getting cheaper. They were significantly more expensive than they are now, and significantly lower spec in the past. The prices are dropping, but that's the easiest way to compare them for price, to work out why they are the prices they are. This has the same resolution on it as a 4K screen. Actually, it's slightly higher resolution than a 4K screen across both screens. So that's what I'm wearing at the moment. I'm wearing a high-quality 4K monitor on my face. VR headsets are full of new technology, but they're getting cheaper all the time. Yes. Pretty much the only way to get an affordable hardware here is when it's locally produced or occasionally lucky import, and it actually goes way back where the Master System was a huge here, because where it is. Yeah, some parts of the world do have a little bit of tough luck with this, and they have my sympathies. Australia is not a great place for. We can get access to the hardware, but everything here is basically marked up 50% for no reason. It's not an export cost to actually bring stuff here, or an import cost or taxes. All of that's already accounted for, and all the hardware is still anywhere between 20 and 50% more expensive than what it would be to buy it in, say, the United States, Europe, or the UK. You'll hear Australians refer to it as the Australia tax, where we just, for no real good reason, wind up paying more for the same product. And it gets worse in other parts of the world. We deal with it here as best we can, but it is what it is. Alright, we'll quit out of this one. I'm just going to do a quick check of the time. What do we get here? You have received strip 23. Okay, fair enough. 13, 16, 11. Okay, there was a few up on this one. Enduring confrontation in Sicily. This is 6.3, which is a little lower. It's got a lot of players going on it too. That's a good rank. I don't have a 6.3 lineup. That's it. We've kind of given up on grinding the Swedes. I might have to manually push them up a little bit further. Is there anything going on here that we can get? Let's have a look. Yes, it's 2.0 still. I don't want 2.0. So I'm sorry, but the Swedish low-end aircraft are terrible. Alright, do a quick check of the time first before we go much further. It's 2:38 in the morning. I don't really want to go into something that's going to run too long. Now, what other lineups do I have here? Who's playing in high-end? Surprisingly little going in 9.3. 9.3 jet battles are actually very vacant. Great Britain, what do I have over here? 7.7 lineup again. Wow. And I've still got 6.3 showing. It's showing me 6.3 because I have a couple of aircraft that are below the line. 7.3. Anything else? No. I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised. It is a Monday night, so I probably shouldn't expect too much. And actually, at 2:30, I might even bring this to a close. Now this seems to be working. We'll definitely do a few more of these. I'll just run through the rest of the chat and see what else I've got here. And sorry to anybody who I haven't responded to yet. As I said, I can't scroll up and down through the chat in VR. For those wondering, once again, why I keep looking over here, I have a box that's sitting in a virtual space about there, just to my right-hand side, that actually has the YouTube chat in it, so I can see what you're saying. So it just floats. Pretty much the only way to get affordable hardware here is when it's locally produced or the occasional lucky input. Yeah, I read that. The point where the Master System is still being made. I didn't say take part in that. Oh, cool, let's just shut that down. Cool, that's what it was going for. By the same company as 30 years ago. Whoa, finally managed to catch a live stream. Well, you managed to just catch the end of one. 2:30, so it's probably a little bit late for me to continue. But there'll definitely be new ones coming in the future. Found the J22 a very nice aircraft to fly. I did like the J22. As I said, I don't like the reserve planes, which when you're playing in 2.3, you kind of need them to earn points. That one, the J6, is really nice to fly. But top speed is listed at max 325. Reality is you barely get it over 250. At 300, it feels like it's going to fall apart. So you can't catch anything in it. The J8 is a bit faster, 404 on the stat card. It cruised comfortably at 300, 320, as I showed before, but it handles like a piece of shit. Its rudder control is terrible, and it constantly loses lift in the wings in hard turns in a way that I don't think a biplane should. I think Gaijin has screwed up the simulation flight model on the J8A for some reason. I don't know how, but it's horrible. It's bloody awful to fly. And you're kind of stuck in 2.0 matches with at least flying these for long enough to get the points to get into something a little bit more upgraded. I know the J11 will be good. It's basically a Falco. I know the B-17B is good. I actually really like that thing as a little light bomber. It's a lot of fun, and you can dogfight in it. It's great. But you've got to get enough points up to be able to get one of them out. They're not free to launch, and so you're stuck flying these. And if you go and check out the Twitch live stream from earlier on today, I think I spent 40 minutes flying around in this thing just trying to chase something down and get close enough to get a kill. This one I got a couple of kills in, and then it fell apart because it can be outmaneuvered by an I-16 in sim, which is not good and probably shouldn't be happening. That's why I'm trying to get into the 3.3 battles, but there's just nobody playing. Because in 3.3 battles, 2.0 aircraft like the J22, which I spaded in about an hour earlier today, that's free to launch. I can have that as my first aircraft, and that is a bloody nice plane. I liked the J20 from RB. I haven't flown it in sim yet, but I don't mind that as a lower level one either. So I've got these planes here that I really like already, and I can launch them straight off the bat. But I need to get into 3.3 matches for that. For everybody, in DCS, I can read the MFDs perfectly fine without zooming in, and the same with IL2. But I do use the zoom functionality to close in on the gun sight for looking around. I have a button bound to the back of the stick that I can press that brings the pops and zoom in. And I do use it in IL2 and DCS as well, on their own VR zooms, for just checking things that are a little bit further out in the distance. Sort of focusing my vision, I suppose you would put it as. The Gladiator is the best rank 1 planes in the Swedish tech tree and SB because it has semi-useful visibility. I don't agree. I don't agree. Jesus Mags, what are you doing up at this god ungodly hour messing about in VR? Well, I'm about to go to bed, but this isn't an ungodly hour for me. To be fair, I've been playing Valhelm over the last week, and I have seen the sunrise far too many times for my own good. I need to stop that. But yeah, I'm about to pull the pin and go to bed. Relax. Hello from Russia. Well, hello from Australia. I feel like the Falco is very restrictive in visibility, and I'm surprised about the Gladiator. I flew it some time ago and it didn't feel too bad. The visibility isn't great. The J6's visibility is awesome. The Gladiator, I've flown better. The Falco definitely has a visibility issue. I won't argue with you there. But the Falco is also just a really kick-ass plane. It flies really nice and it's powerful. So I can deal with the visibility limitations based on just the horsepower alone. And yeah, I kind of like the Falco. So War Thunder VR is a different client than normal War Thunder? Nope. Just in your client, when you click the Start War Thunder and you get the little window where you can set your options and it updates when patches come out and all that kind of stuff. If you go into the settings, there's a little tick box that says Launch in VR. You tick that and then you hit Go and boom, it loads into VR. And if you forget to load up Steam VR or anything else, Steam will actually detect that, and it'll launch Steam VR and all the appropriate apps for it as well, instantly. J20 is decent. It's basically a Ringling RE2000. J22 and A and B are great. Very positive handling characteristics. Yeah, I agree with that. I said, flew the J22 for the first time today and spaded it in 2 matches. Could have spaded it in 1. It was great. I really like the J22A. Haven't flown the B yet, but I don't think it's going to be any different. J22A, it reminded me of having something that had the power of a Focke-Wulf Anton, but the nimbleness of, or somewhere between the power of for a Focke-Wulf Anton, a 190 Anton, and probably an F109. An early F, probably an F2, sitting somewhere in between those two. So a little bit of raw grunt from the 190 side, but the nimbleness of the 109 on the other side. It was really good. The Morco Moraine is deeply unpleasant by comparison. I guess we'll find out soon enough. I'm definitely going to be flying them all. And I kind of feel like the... God, I can't even pronounce that. Sweden, I love your country, but Jesus, your language. Is copied from the G55 or something. It feels very similar. Good plane, though I'd prefer the Brewster in the game. Yeah, the thing is, I haven't flown a lot of these in sim yet. As I said, I've only sort of started doing this morning, and we didn't get much time on it today because there was just nobody running the matches, which is why we wound up flying around in Germany jets. But I'll suss them all out once I have a chance. I did fly the B-17. I liked it. I liked the J6. It was slow. I hate the handling of the J8. It's terrible. I should have flown the J11, but I didn't. I flew the 22 and fell in love with it. The J22 is just a piece of kit. I like it. The one I was trying to unlock, which we did unlock today, was the J21A1, because I just have a hard-on for pusher props and twin booms, and it's a pusher prop twin boom, so hell yes. But I haven't flown it yet in VR, and I haven't flown it yet in Sim, and I will not be flying it until I can actually run an SB and get it spawned out, because I don't want to fly it and spoil it. I want to have fun with it. So I'll be flying it from dead stock and spading it in hopefully 1 match, if it goes well. Finnish, don't blame the Swedish for our language. Sorry, look, I'm Australian. I only speak bad English, and everybody else's I cannot pronounce. Anything from Russia or Northern Europe, I really have trouble pronouncing anything. Germany as well, for that matter. And France. Actually, no, really anywhere. I'm just terrible. J29 is my favourite premium vehicles. I literally unlocked and bought the entire Swedish tree with it for the J35. J29. Yeah, I could see that. It'll be interesting to get to. This is why I'm doing this here and not doing it in the Chinese tree where I haven't touched anything, because it's just, you know, I've flown Gladiators. Flown I-16s, I-15, HS-123, you know, A-20s, SBs, KI-43s. You're seeing the amount of double aircraft in here, right? Catalinas, B-25, another I-16, a P-47 too, because let's just have them as well. LA-9 over here, P-51, IL-10, TU-2S. P-38's over here as well, P-51K, and then we get down to the F-86s, A-9s, the J-2s. You know, we got to get down to around here before we start seeing anything that even looks remotely Chinese, and most of it isn't. It's still just variations on other nations' vehicles. I don't have any interest in playing the copy-paste tree. I want to play stuff that's unique, that I haven't gone through most of the tree, and I've done most of the French tree, done most of the Italian tree, just over time because they've been around for so long, but I haven't touched Sweden. So unique and interesting aircraft. J29 I look forward to, and you know, it's got this at the end. You know, that's at the end of it. I don't care if it's good or bad. What that is sexy. Okay, I used to have a model of one of these bloody things when I was, God, how old would I have been? I would have been 9. It was, my dad was still in the Air Force at the time. as one of the jet models, and I felt him does require a little bit more hardware to run, but it is straight up a better sim in VR. War Thunder is just very easy to drop into. Tips for avoiding nausea. I covered a little bit of this earlier on, and keep in mind I'm not an expert on this because I've never got nausea in VR ever, period. But tips for avoiding nausea: I take small breaks whenever you're starting, at least small breaks, 20 minutes or so, if you're starting to feel nausea coming on. Keep a fan running in your room. Drink lots of water. It's going to sound funny, drink lots of water, but drinking lots of water will cause you to swallow, and it'll help clear your inner ear. And what the nausea that you experience, the motion sickness you experience in VR, what's actually triggering it is your inner ear is telling your brain that you're sitting in a chair perfectly level, but your eyes are telling your brain a completely different story, and your brain does not like the disconnect between these two things. If you've got something that's cycling, and you're drinking water, you're cycling your inner ear a bit. You're causing it to essentially refresh, and that will help clear stuff up a little bit. Having a fan that is as close to as directly in front of you as you possibly can, also blowing air on you, gives your brain a point of reference on something that is outside of the inner ear and your eyes on where 40s. So it helps it work stuff out. So you're a bit of a fan to blow that on, and just take breaks. And if you're feeling nausea really starting to kick in, just stop. I know you spent a lot of money on your headset, but you don't want to train your brain into thinking every time you put the headset on you're going to get sick, because the brain will start to expect it, and you'll start to get nauseous the second you pick the bloody thing up. The brain's a funny thing. Don't do that. If you're feeling nauseous, don't push it. Take the headset off. Take a break. Go watch some TV. Go for a walk outside. Do anything else. Come back to it 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe even an hour later. Give it another shot, and over a couple of days to a week, you'll probably find that most of the nausea's gone. Also, T-18B2 is a great heavy fighter in Air RB. I wonder if it's like that in SB2. Well, we'll have to find out. Are you going to do a video on the new South Africa tech tree? No, because Gaijin has a tendency to open the development, the test servers at like 4 and 5 a.m. my time, and I'm not either staying up for it that late or getting up for it that early. So that's why I sort of stopped doing the test server videos. That and the fact that they kind of change stuff on there fairly regularly. I will have a look at it when it's in the live server. When it's in the live server and released, I'll have a poke around it, but I'm not going to poke around on dev. The last time I did that, as we spoke about on the stream this morning on Twitch, the last time I did a dev server video where I covered flight models was when they released helicopters. And they had a flight model that I told everyone was great on the dev server, because it was. It wasn't super realistic, but it was in the spirit of how a helicopter actually flew, and it didn't feel bad. And I told everybody that, this isn't terrible. Like, it's not super realistic, but it does respond as you would expect a helicopter to. So you can do things with this flight model that you can do in real helicopters, because it plays nice to it. And that was fine. And then they released the flight model onto the live server, and they put a completely different flight model in, and it was shit. I have no idea what it's like now, because I've been too disgusted to play helicopters really ever since. But yeah, the flight model they put in was utter trash, and so I had to apologise for everybody for telling the flight model was good, even though the flight model on the dev server was actually good. So yeah, I don't do the dev server anymore. It's really only all the dev server is now is a thing for content creators to go on and look at the shiny 3D models, because the 3D models of what's there is essentially the only stuff that you can be guaranteed is going to make it to the live server. And I'm not doing that at 5 a.m. I wonder why you didn't sleep, but you said about VR, have the same problem. It's like a casino, they don't have windows. If the Chinese ever get really unique stuff, I will grind them, but for now I can't bring myself to go past 2.2. Yeah, that's my issue. That's why I have never bothered. It's not that I've got anything against the tree. I just don't want to unlock aircraft that I've already got unlocked and spaded in other trees. It offers me nothing. Put in some native Chinese aircraft, and a lot of them, stuff that they haven't had, even if it makes the tree tiny, even if it's only a sliver of the size that it is now. Put in a shitload of native aircraft. I'll grind the Chinese tree, because I want to see unique Chinese-only aircraft or Chinese takes on specific planes that they've made excessive modifications to. I don't want to just unlock shit that I've already got. The only unique Tier 1 and 2 American imports that the US never use are worth it. 2 aircraft for an entire tree? No. Draken, yes. It's amazing and worth the wait. I love my J35. I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. That's what this is all about. Started grinding the Chinese tree 2 days ago. It's not that bad. I'd rather get it out of the way now, so when they do add Chinese stuff, I won't have to grind through the whole tree. Well, the power to you for that one. CW21, P66, that sort of stuff. Good advice. Thanks, mate. No, not a problem, mate. Glad I could help. Looked at trying to get the Steam VR headset, but couldn't figure out how to get it here in Australia. Steam wouldn't sell it. Yes, you can't buy it from Steam in Australia. They won't sell it to you. You have to buy it from one of the retailers that will ship to Australia. Don't ask me why, but Steam won't sell the Index to Australians. It kind of pisses me off. And I consider it kind of bullshit, because I probably would have got an Index over a G2 if it was an option, but it wasn't. So that's why I've got the G2, because HP will sell me a headset into Australia. Test server should be called the Hype server. Yeah, well, that's what it is. That's really what it is. DCS for helicopters. Well, yeah, I would like a good arcade or light sim that I can fly helicopters in as well. Like, don't get me wrong. Even when I'm pissed off at Eagle Dynamics for what they've done development-wise with DCS, and I'm angry with them, DCS will still be installed, if nothing else, because I have the Huey there. And I will always go back to flying the Huey there. But I still would like some other options. Chinese J12 is just bizarre Chinese jet they should have added way back. Yeah. There is a really nice Mexican skin for one of the Sabres. It's a lovely jade and has a cool Inca style eagle. I've seen that before. The Mexican F-86s. I've seen the real one. New Chinese jet coming, but it might be in the American tree soon. Again, it's copy paste stuff. It's just there might be 1 or 2 aircraft that are worth it for flying, that are interesting, but it's the 100 other aircraft that you've got to grind through first to unlock it and actually get access to it that I can't be bothered. Where the Swedish tree, if I reset my view here a little bit here, the Swedish tree, if I look back over my shoulder, all of it's unique. All of it. Every single aircraft is unique to Sweden. There's a couple, though, well, pretty close to it anyway. There's a couple of copies here and there, but you know, this is just you won't find the J21 anywhere else. You got things like the J29. It's just the Draken. It's full of unique aircraft. So you don't mind if you run into a copy-paste aircraft here or there in the tree, because 1 or 2 there isn't going to bother you when you've got a metric shit ton of completely unique native aircraft. So that's cool. But when you've got basically everything as a copy-paste and only 1 or 2 native aircraft, suddenly that grind is just a grind. But yeah. That's all I've really got to say on that. That's just a personal opinion. No problem if anybody else wants to grind them. That's cool. You grind them and fly them, I'll shoot you down. I'm cool with that. That works for me. It's more targets in the sky one way or another. It's DCS still struggling for your setup. Sorry to hear about its poor optimization. No, Ned. This is I tried to explain this in the last DCS video. In-game performance, I have managed to tune DCS to the point where I am hitting well over 60 FPS in the headset. At times, when it's not too busy, I will max it out at 90 Hz inside of the headset. It is smooth as butter to fly on my setup. The problem is recording DCS, because there's only a couple of ways you can actually record VR, and most of them involve the Steam VR mirror, which is currently broken for anybody who isn't using Steam-affiliated hardware, which means basically the Vive and the Index. anybody using an Oculus headset or a Windows Mixed Reality headset gets an immediate 50% reduction in frame rate inside of the Steam VR mirror, which is what you record in order to see what's happening inside of VR. So, assuming I'm on 90 FPS, I'm only going to get 45 on playback before any other issues come in. And there is a few other issues going around as well. So recording DCS is my problem. Playing it, it's beautiful at the moment, but recording it is a pain in the ass. There's supposed to be a VR tank game coming out with multi-crew. There already is one. It's in IL2. IL2 Tank Crew. You can play it in VR, and you can multi-crew the tanks. There's probably a few others coming, but yeah, that one's coming. Well, that one's already out. They're putting in the anti-aircraft vehicles soon to finish it off, and then there's probably going to be another one that'll have more tanks in it. And I'm hoping for British tanks, because I want to drive a Matilda. I used to love Gunship 2000, being able to use the Kiowa to mask your squadron mates to fire Hellfires on targets. Yeah, something like that. Something a little bit light sim would be good. I've kind of got a bit of a hope that maybe Arma 4 will have VR support. That'll be nice. If the F5 isn't worth grinding the Chinese tree over, when the US will probably get it too. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at. Is South Africans confirmed? Yes, they are. Americans did the Tiger 2 2000 dirty when they didn't select it. Steel Crew. Okay, yep, we'll check that out. I've also got to have a look at, I think it's Steel Wolves, the VR submarine game as well. Definitely want to have a look at that. I'm probably going to pick that up soon, actually. The Swedish tree, I'm not going to lie, I almost gave up on that tree after having to fly the J29 variants. The plane is okay, but the cannon's being based off the Hispanos. It was Spark Thunder. Again, this could be... The whole Spark Thunder thing used to be a thing that I had issues with in RB, and in AB, of course. Funnily enough, in Sim, you have less troubles with it. I don't know why. My only suggestion there would be try and give Sim a swing and go hunt some bombers in it and see what happens. The P66 has a gun sight stapled to the middle of the canopy. It's very weird. Yeah, you'll find some really odd stuff. I love IL-2 flying the MiG-3 in IL-2 Great Battles, and you realise, because they've got the cockpit modelled correctly, that what the Russians did, because they couldn't bend glass properly, because that was actually a really new concept then, actually moulding and curving glass. They couldn't bend the glass properly to get the shape and keep it sealed. What they actually did is they cut the glass, and then they ran sticky tape up the inside of the glass in order to seal it against the wind from the outside. So if you look through it, there's actually two bits of sticky tape on the left and right hand side of the MiG-3's windshield. They sticky taped the canopy closed. Well-modelled cockpits have some really interesting stuff in it that you kind of got to sort of scratch your head and wonder who came up with that idea and why, but they did it anyway. IL-2 Tank Crew has been out for quite a while, hasn't it? It's still undergoing new content additions. Yep. Well, it was put into early access about a year and a half ago, and it's just about complete now. It's definitely a low priority thing for them, but all of the core tanks are in now, I believe, with only the anti-aircraft vehicles yet to be added. And it's got, I think, 2 or 3 campaigns for it now, plus obviously the campaign generator, which is also included. But yeah, it's been around for a bit. I've got a couple of videos on it. I should do another one in VR, because I haven't done a VR version of Tank Crew yet, and that's going to be really interesting, just because of how you can look around in VR. I'm going to be able to stick my head in all sorts of places that I just couldn't with TrackIR and have a look around and see how it's modelled, and I have no doubt that they've done the inside of those tanks justice. I'm looking forward to the Mighty 8 now, because it's not just the B-17, we also have the Halifax. I was looking forward to it before that, but them having the Halifax is a great bonus. I should check out the Atlas Cheetah on Wikipedia. I might pop it up at some point. Also, it's now being developed by a proper sim developer, which Micropose brought. I'm pretty sure Micropose was the one that was always developing the Mighty 8th to begin with. That was B-17 Flying Fortress was always their thing. Because the thing is, the new B-17 game Micropose is working on has multi-crew and VR support as well. So you can have you and all your mates flying a B-17 and having to manage a B-17 in VR simultaneously. So if you happen to have an index and an index controller, you will be able to flip your mates the bird inside of a B-17, which I love the idea. IL-2 and DCS are on my buying list for when I'm not broke college student. For now, I'm stuck with my D13 and good old free play War Thunder. Well, do keep in mind, DCS is free to play as well. You only get access to 2 aircraft, and only one of them has guns. The other one is the Frogfoot, which is the Russian ground attacker. But you can fly that for free on the Caucasus map right now. It costs you nothing. And they do have free weekends when you can check out aircraft and stuff as well. But yeah, you can learn to fly around in the Su-25 and do ground attack missions, ground pound, maybe shoot down a couple of aircraft if you're good enough with the IR missiles that are on it, or good enough with the 30mm cannon for a bit of fun. And it won't cost you a cent. The base thing is completely free to check out. If IL-2 could work out a control scheme for keyboard and mouse and also be more basic set of management controls, I think it would completely dominate War Thunder if they were to make a proper combined arms. Yeah, but that's not what they're going for. IL-2 is a sim. It is a sim that is focused more on the environment rather than a study sim like War Thunder. War Thunder is all about turning the knobs and flicking the switches. DCS is all about turning the knobs and flicking the switches. It's a study sim first, a combat sim later. Sorry, getting a bit dry here. IL-2 is a combat sim first, a study sim later. It's still accurate in its flight models, but it doesn't have the clicky switches. It's all about getting into the cockpit, and doing the engine management side of things is still a thing. You still need to do it, but it's generally done via keyboard shortcuts and or HoTaS commands. But these are genuine flight sims. They're not appealing to the arcade market. As far as they've ever gone into that is the option to go into something like a game mode, and IL-2 does have a basic mouse aim to allow people to have a look around who don't have sim hardware or don't have joysticks or whatever else and just want a more easy way to play. They do have a mode for this, or some game options you can set for this, but that's not what they're appealing to. They're just a little bit of an extra thing for people that want to just check it out. They have the option available. And they're not trying to dominate War Thunder, because they don't need to. That's the thing. People who play War Thunder and want a more sim experience will go up to sim. If they want a more sim experience than sim, they'll go to IL-2. IL-2 doesn't need to compete with War Thunder, because the majority of War Thunder's player base, the reason why they're not playing War Thunder sim at the moment is because they're not interested in flight simming. They want a flight game. They just want to feel like Maverick for 5 minutes in a match in arcade, and then go off and do other things with their life. They're not interested in becoming flight simmers. And if they suddenly develop that interest, they go to IL-2. So, yeah, that's the thing. They don't actually need to dominate War Thunder. War Thunder players will find their way to IL-2 if that's the experience that they're looking for, all on their own. And if they're not looking for that experience, then they were never going to migrate to begin with. And, that's perfectly fine too, to be clear. Those that don't want to do the sim experience and just like watching it on YouTube, or even just don't like watching it on YouTube as well and just like playing arcade, power to them. I'm not an elitist about this. Do the thing that you enjoy doing. Don't fuck around doing things that you don't enjoy doing for no other reason. Do the thing that you enjoy doing. No problems with those that don't want to get into it. And for those that do want to get into it, come join the unprofessional server on Sundays. All the planes are available, and we like to fly and fuck around. We've even got a Discord server that's independent for it. I'm not sure whether guns are that bad. It's very frustrating when you reverse someone and fart noise someone's wing. I'll have to investigate once I actually get up to those planes. Hopefully it won't take too much. Get the A4 in DCS too. Yes, you can get the A4 for free. It's a mod. You can also get the C130 mod, I think, works without... Actually, hold me up on that. I don't know if the C130 mod works without flaming cliffs, so I need to check that. Mags, I love your Welsh accent. My joystick's throttle control stopped working. Yeah, that sucks. There's not much you can do about that. Possibly crack open the bottom of the joystick and see whether or not it's just some crap on the contacts. It could be. Just some dust or some fluff got in there and maybe messed it up. They're pretty basic inside. Joysticks are nowhere near as scary as you might think. Just make sure it's not plugged in when you open it up. That's all. Please disconnect it from the computer before you crack the screws. Just to be clear, I open up all of my joystick gear, that are all the stuff that I'm actively using. What I'm not using is generally in dust covers. What I am using generally gets opened up at least once a month for cleaning and re-greasing. I'm pretty adamant about keeping all my hardware in good order. God, you guys have got a lot of questions. Getting 13.2 Atkins on the J21s are absolutely the best MGs in the game. Yeah, I think I've used a couple of the 13s at this point. They seem to be good. I haven't run into any problems with them, but I said I only started this really today. I left War Thunder Sim because there just wasn't enough people playing it for an Aussie. Yeah, well, that's what I'm running into at the moment, but I can usually find a few people flying. The thing is, it's just a matter of don't be too picky about what you fly. I started the stream tonight fully intending to grind through at least 3 more jets in the Swedish tree. I wound up flying three more planes in the Swedish tree, rather, and getting up to maybe rank 5 if we could. I wound up flying in a match in American jets, and then I wound up flying a match in German jets. I just couldn't find players. Why do I have auto repair on? Why not? I just pay to get stuff repaired. It's not like I'm short of money. I got 8 million. I've been sitting on 8 million for the last 3 years. I easily make as much as I consume. The only time I have to grind for more money is when I'm planning on buying more planes. And then I usually pump myself up to 10, then blow 2 million to buy the planes that I want to buy and slot them, and then I sit back on 8 again. I don't see any point in turning it off. I make more than enough. DCS and Ace Combat aren't competing for an audience, you know? No, they're not. Although I'm going to be playing with Ace Combat's competitor tomorrow, probably. I'm going to start a playthrough in just VR of Project Wingman. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. If they handle like the planes in Ace Combat, I might even get dizzy, maybe. Simplifying would ruin IL-2. Yeah, it doesn't need to be any more simple than it is. It's fine where it is. It's exactly the game that it's needed for the market that it's at, and it sells a really good, if you play the campaigns in it, it sells a really good and really realistic feeling combat environment. When you're flying over the Volga River in the Eastern Front in a 109, and Russian planes are fluting around, and you're seeing the fight happening on the ground, and there's smoke billowing out of the cities, and artillery is firing. You feel like you're in the right spot. It sells that war-torn battlefield really well. It's exactly what it needs to be. Is a South African tech tree coming, or just the map? As I understand it, it's a tech tree. I think it might be only ground vehicles. Kylie, just dropping... Kyle, low, just dropping by for a few minutes. Would like to say thank you. I've been watching your vids since 2014, and you've gotten me into many games such as IL-2, so cheers, mate. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, mate. As I said, glad I can be a help to everybody, and hoping I can continue to be for some time into the future. Do I still play arcade from time to time to keep your situational awareness? Yeah, every now and again. I'll pop on there for 5 minutes just to screw around. It's arcade now is generally I have a very limited amount of time free, and I want to waste it on something, and usually laugh while doing it. And I tend to play mid to low tiers, usually Japan, but any nation that has ridiculously maneuverable aircraft just for the lulz. Completely unrelated to gaming, how do you find streaming on YouTube? Well, this is my first time. I'll have to look at my stats afterwards. I haven't taken this headset off since just past midnight, so it's probably 3 a.m. now, so call it 3 hours. I'll have a look at after I go to bed and wake up in the morning, I'll have a look at the stats and see how it all went. Hopefully it went well. And you guys will obviously let me know as well. I am Canadian. Almost all the people I fly sim with on War Thunder are from Europe, which makes it hard to play games because you have huge time differences. Welcome to my world. There is a couple of Australians that I know when I'm flying, and I have a fairly large base of people to fly with, but the vast majority are from the UK, Europe, or the United States. That's just the way it is. Did I play Ace Combat 7 with the HoTaS? Yes. I played most of it with a controller. I played some of it. I tried the... I had a T.Flight controller here. I tried it on, and I couldn't stand it. And it pissed me off that they locked all the HoTaS options, so I flew that one on controller. So no, I didn't fly that one. I lied. I didn't fly that one on HoTaS. I've never been to your live streams before. Been watching the channel for 5 to 6 years. Cool to do the interacting thing. Well, the only reason I haven't been streaming before that is the internet hasn't been stable enough to even get a 720p stream like this one up. Now that it is, I will be doing it more often, and I am trying to get at least a 1080p 30 with a target of 1080p 60. If I can do that, I'll stream. Well, as it is, I might stream like 3 times a week as it is. If I can get to 1080p 60, I might wind streaming full-time. Just become a YouTube streamer. I like the interacting thing too. I love the fact that I can talk back to you guys. This is the best part about it. I have an X56 from Logitech and play IL-2 occasionally, and I'm really interested in learning IL-2 deeply, but I find it hard to sit down for hours and learn, so I'm slowly learning. Yeah, well, you take your time. Simming is not something that you get into and you try and knock it out as quickly as you possibly can. I can spend hours when a new plane comes out on DCS just reading through manuals, and not just the manuals from Eagle Dynamics. I will pull up the NATOPS manuals for how the real-life pilots operate the aircraft, and I'll start reading through some of those. I'll spend hours just before I even take off, just working out how the bloody thing operates. Usually why it's downloading, and usually why DCS is updating. Then once it's done, then I'll jump in and probably crash it a couple of times. But simming is the area where gaming progresses from gaming and starts falling into the area of hobbying. And if you've ever had a serious hobby, whether it be something like Warhammer 40k miniatures or doing models, you know, like mini like World War II ships, aircraft carriers, little aircraft models, anything like that, you know it's never about doing things quickly. It's about time and just enjoying the time you spend doing what you're doing. That's where simming lies in. I don't really stream it. I probably should stream more of it, actually. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Just taking off and going for a flight. I'm not shooting at anybody. There's nothing to unlock. I'm not really going anywhere. I'm not even doing it in interesting weather. It's just whatever weather happens to be presented to me. But I'll just take off and fly from A to B because I enjoy it. So yeah, don't worry about slowly learning. Take your time. Enjoy the learning. Enjoy all the crashes that come with it, and enjoy all the fun. Been into War Thunder Sim for a while. My biggest issue is I find it distracting to look around with the mouse. Any recommendations? I've heard there's head tracking. Yeah, look up, I think it's Smooth Track on the phone is the cheap app that uses your phone to face track. There's a few people talking about it in here. You've got open track options for IR head tracking, and then there is TrackIR, which is an official one, but it is ridiculously expensive, but it is an option. But look up anything TrackIR related. There's a few head tracker options out there, definitely to get up. Do I still play Cold Waters? Not at the moment. I've kind of ran out of things to do on Cold Waters, so I've stopped. I'm waiting for a few patches to come out for the Killerfish's new War on the Sea. I've got the game. I've played very little of it at this point, but I ran into bugs even in that limited amount of time. So I'm waiting for them to pop a few more patches, and then I'm probably going to start playing that a little bit as a non-VR game for this channel. Project Wingman is a game for those who love aviation and volcanoes, because there's a lot of volcanoes in it. That's alright, I like volcanoes, so this would be a lot of fun. Have you planned to play War on the Sea? Yep, that's what I was just talking about. There's new really good turning Swedish aircraft coming in the next update. I look forward to it. I found the HoTaS pretty bad in Ace Combat 7. It's because they tried to lock all the HoTaS to Thrustmaster only. So if you didn't have a Thrustmaster HoTaS, basically you got shafted for no reason other than the developers for, or the whoever it was that did the production, the publishing for Ace Combat 7 cut a deal with Thrustmaster, and that's why everything was shit on it. And yeah, it kind of disgusted me a bit, to be honest. IL-2 1946, yes, I do play it, not so much anymore, because I kind of like VR, because in VR I can fly without markers in a way that I can't on a flat screen now, and nobody has done a VR mod for IL-2 1946. If somebody does a VR mod for IL-2 1946, fuck yes, I'll be playing IL-2 1946, because at the moment, IL-2 1946 is the only way to get a specific campaign, and I would love to do carrier ops in my Zeros again, or even in my F6Fs, my Hellcats, but I can't, because nobody else has Pacific that has VR. Same goes with Cliffs of Dover. I would be playing that as well, except they do not have VR support. The second they put VR support in, I'll be flying Cliffs of Dover. There's a Wellington in there with my name on it. Ever thought of getting a pilot's license, or would the vision issues be a roadblock on that? The vision issues are a roadblock on that. I was hoping this year to be able to look into getting surgery that maybe would help with that option, but it's not financially viable for me to get the surgery at this point, because it is not a surgery that is covered completely by Australia's medical system. It is not cheap. And COVID is also causing quite a few problems in regards to being able to get appointments for non-elective surgeries, especially non-elective surgeries that are only just out of the experimental phase. So, no pilot's license for me, and no surgery to fix it for the moment. Hopefully my business will take off and I'll make a lot of money on the graphic design side. Hopefully you guys will check out the Teespring store, buy some of the shirts, and buy the new ones when they come up, and maybe I'll be able to afford the surgery. But that's about where I'm at the moment. I can't afford it, and even if I could afford it, I couldn't get a booking for the surgery at the moment. But the surgery might allow me to be able to get a pilot's license afterwards, at least a general aviation with restrictions. So I'd probably be able to fly VFR clear in clear conditions. I don't know if they would rate me any higher than that, but frankly that would be enough. To be able to do that for real, that would be enough. Dell & Clip is a great brand. Yep, it is. War on the Sea, please stream. Yes, once they've patched it, so things aren't quite so broken. Hey Mags, what's your favourite nation to play? And also, what is your favourite tier to play? I like low tiers generally, and my favourite two aircraft, or my favourite aircraft in War Thunder, is the A6M2 Mod 11. It has been for years, and it still is to this day. So, low, mid-tier, rank 3 Japan. All the funds. Use hat clip if you got TrackIR. The clip set is not worth the money. I've been using the hat clip for years. Yeah, I still use the hat clip. I never got the pro clip. So ask about VR support for Cliffs of Dover. There's a bunch of angry anti-VR players, but the developer says they're working on it slowly. Well, look, anti-VR players can be as anti-VR as they want. If they want to stick their heads in a shoebox and scream, they can go right ahead. VR is fantastic. Suck shit. I hope the developers put it in. When they do, I'll be playing it, and I know a shitload of VR pilots. Most of the people I fly with now have VR. They've all got different types. I fly with the G2. I know a couple of other people that have a G2 as well. Deadmeat, who you've seen on the channel before, he flies with a Vive. I know a couple of people that from the States that have indexes. A few others that are flying with Oculus headsets. So different mix. But I would say probably more people than not at the moment that fly with me regularly in IL-2 have HMDs on. We're all in VR now. And it's expanding. There are more and more people picking up VR because of what it can do, and because the cost is dropping, and because the hardware is becoming powerful enough now to be able to drive higher resolution screens. So, They can be anti-VR if they like, but if they want a sure way to kill their sim, keep the VR out of the sim. Because I'm the only person of all those VR users that I know that actually owns Cliffs of Dover Blitz at this point in time. And I own it because I wanted to poke around in it, and I don't fly it anymore because I don't have VR, and they won't buy it because it doesn't have VR. So, and that's expanding. The numbers on VR are not going down, they're only going up. Why would someone be anti-VR? There are people out there that just want to hate on new tech all the time. A lot of them, to be fair, are people that have either never tried it and just want to, oh, it's a fad, rah, 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 or just want to, yeah, just want to hate the new thing. Or they've had actually, a lot of people had bad experiences with it when it was early on, when it was low resolution, lots of screen door effect, had motion sickness, and went, oh, it's all shit, it's all terrible. I'm running on a 4K headset at the moment. There is 0 screen door effect. Straight up, there is no screen door effect in this screen at all. Everything is pristine and sharp, and I have a visual disability. I'm blind in one eye, and I can spot targets without markers with VR on. I can't do it on a screen. VR is not a fad. Deal with it, bitches. Sorry, that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going. Hopefully you win the lottery. Hope you get your wings soon. I always think I hope I win the lottery, but at some point I'm probably going to have to buy a ticket. Mags, have you ever played Elite Dangerous in VR? Yes, I was playing Elite Dangerous in VR last week. I've actually resurrected my old character from my last reset, so I've still got I think I'm parked in Imperial Space at the moment in my Vulture, and I was farming pirates. I might stream it. If you guys are interested, I did ask about space sims. I might stream, just have a casual chat and fly around doing some Elite Dangerous later in the week. If you can deal with Elite Dangerous in 720p, of course, because that's my restriction for the moment. No one forces somebody to play in VR. No, but there are people that hate it. I mean, graphics, go back and check the forums from the early 2000s. There were people that hated TrackIR and head tracking in flight sims. Oh, you don't need it, it's just crap technology, the reflections mess it up all the time, you just need the little knob on top of your joystick to look around, or you use your mouse, don't be an idiot. Happens every time. It doesn't matter what the tech is, it happens every time, and this is just the new tech. Wish it was easier to grind ground vehicles in War Thunder, but research is scuffed. Yeah, well, look, I've only got... I can show you. When it comes to ground tier, I've been playing this for a long time, and I haven't ground anything out. I've got a fair amount. Some tiers have more than others, but there is no tree where I'm all the way to the bottom. Russia's terrible. I've done bugger all in Russia. Britain too, for that matter. I've got nothing in tier 6. So, yeah. But then again, to be fair, I don't put quite as much time in it as I probably should. But I'm not a huge tank guy. I like tanks. I play tanks. I enjoy tanks. I like the history of tanks. But I'm planes. I've always been planes. I'm a plane guy and spaceship guy first. That's always been my thing. I own Cliffs of Dover Blitz because I bought the original Cliffs of Dover way back. Well, yeah, that's why I got Blitz as well. I never bought it independently, but I'm happy to spend more money on it. They got to put VR in it. That's my catch. That's the only thing I want. VR in, I'm in. VR in, I'll fly it tomorrow. I'll fly it on the next stream if they put it in. But yeah. The only thing Gaijin did right was having the foresight to see VR. Wow, it's scrolling up fast. I missed that one. But yes, I do agree. Getting on the VR bandwagon early was good. They need to spend some time updating it, though, because it is very much 2016 VR. Elite Dangerous is really cool. Real it is. Favourite DCS aircraft would be the JF-17 for the win. The Jeff is a fantastic plane. I know fuck all about it. I actually haven't spent a lot of time flying it. I own it, but I haven't spent much time flying it, so it's a plane that I would need to completely relearn from scratch. Most of my time is in the Hornet, which I'm sure you guys have noticed, and the Tomcat, which I only ever fly the Tomcat now when I can fly with Chase Tuner. He's on my DCS server, and he generally operates as my Rio, and we multi-crew the F-14, and that is fantastic. I'm hoping I'll be able to stream that for you guys at some point in the future. Do you think the VR setup you have now will hold up as a good, cheaper option later on? Poor guy here. This is basically the best 4K screen headset you can get at the moment. There is a slightly higher one, but I don't know much about it. I can't even remember the brand name for it now. But yeah, the setup that I have now, do I think it'll last? I'm hoping this setup will last for at least 2 years without any modifications whatsoever, outside of perhaps an expansion on RAM to 128 gig. And that's got nothing to do with the VR. The 128 gig of RAM is specifically for my workstation stuff. Potentially a few new hard drive upgrades for more storage and speed. But the actual setup itself, I'm hoping minimum 2 years with no major modifications focused for any kind of gaming, including VR. Hopefully 4. At least 3, but minimum 2. And yes, I think it'll do that just fine. Obviously, as bigger headsets at higher resolution come in, you will need to upgrade down the track, but I consider it this way: CPU series upgrades and GPU upgrades happen at least once, only happen once every 2 years. So this has to last 2 years without any problems, because there's not going to be a new graphics card series. There's not going to be a 4000 series graphics card until 2 years from now. There won't be something beyond the 5900 series current Ryzen 9 setup for at least 2 years, because the tech industry upgrades on 2-year cycles. Still, all headsets under 4K resolution are just too pixelated for me. Double check on the new, I think it's the Vive Galaxy and the Index. They are slightly lower resolution than this thing, but speaking to those who have them and those who have also had access to the G2, it's a bee's dick in it. I might notice because of my eyes being pretty shitty to begin with, so I'm really using the 4K resolution hard. But somebody with good vision, there probably wouldn't be as much of a difference as you think. The older headsets like the CV1, absolutely. But things like the upgraded Vive, the Vive Galaxy and the Index might be worth still looking at. Slightly lower resolution, but higher frame rates. The Index in particular is 120 Hz, so it is really smooth if you can get it running. And it integrates completely with Steam VR, no problems at all. Odyssey is going to be dope if we get VR support for that. I remember people saying head tracking gives an unfair advantage. There will always be people that complain about something. I don't think VR support for Odyssey will come on launch. It might. You never know. The VR support is already there if it's inbuilt. Because VR for FPS is a lot harder than ships. Not really. I've done some first person FPS. It's more the control systems that's an issue. It's not about the difficulty of running it. It's how they're planning on controlling it. And if they're planning on having a full physics setup with the ability to pick up and put stuff down, yeah, that'll be difficult. But I don't think they are. I think it's going to be fairly basic movement overall. Why don't you do a mass multiplayer stream in Elite Dangerous with all your fans? Yeah, I could do that. Absolutely. If people are interested in that, of course. That's the thing. I didn't know if anyone would be interested. Haven't had a chance to ask. But if you're interested, hell, yeah, I'll do that. I think it'll take a while for it to come to Space Legs. Well, we'll see. You know, I could be wrong, but if it doesn't come to Space Legs, I'm not taking the headset off to look at a screen, so I guess I just stay in my ship, but I was planning on doing that anyway. High tier tanks in War Thunder is kind of crap anyway. Yeah, that's my experience as well. I prefer playing with the low tier stuff. 20 days total flight time, but probably an hour in ground RB. Yeah, well, my air time dwarfs my ground time easily. JF-17 is a Pakistani Chinese plane, right? Yep, pretty much. high-res VR called Pimax, my guy. That's the one, the Pimax headset, which has an 8K version now, but I've heard it has some interesting issues with the screens, and some interesting issues getting running. But I don't have personal experience on it, so I'm not going to say anything more than that. Just that's what I've heard. I would love to get my hands on one to actually take a look. Quest 2 is surprisingly good on the resolution. Can't beat it on price regardless. Yeah, I've heard that. Quest 2, it's a lower res, but it's apparently a pretty good headset if you don't mind the Facebook integration. And I have seen that the Quest 2 has some accessories already that allow you to essentially disconnect it from the computer and run it on a battery pack, so you can actually go completely wireless with it. I think that was the one I saw. I know it was one of the Oculus. I think it was Quest 2. That, the battery mounts over the back of the head to balance out the front of the headset. And, yeah, it's got a transmitter on it and the rest. And, yeah, you can go completely wireless. And no cables, complete freedom. And I think it's the first headset that can be computer plugged in and it can work that way. Still got to get outside before it gets too dark. Good night, Mags. Good night, mate. I really need to sign off as well, so I'll answer the last couple of questions and then we'll go. Quest 2 also getting 120Hz update soon. Yep, that will be good. Human angular resolution is about 1 arc minute. Horizontal field vision is about 180 degrees. So if we have 60 pixels per degree, then the resolution will be about as good as real life. I don't know if we'll get there for the moment. We might in a few years. But I can deal with not quite having the same resolution as real life, so long as I don't have to worry about screen door effect, and I can see better than I do in real life. So, and I'm already there now, so I'm good. Make a poll. Everybody loves polls. Yeah, I should pop another one up, considering how the spiffing bit broke the internet, so I should probably try that. I think it's probably going to be more like watching a screen in VR than ED Odyssey on foot. Yeah, if it's that, I won't be playing, I won't be getting out of the ship. But as I said, I wasn't planning on doing that anyway. I play ED because I want to fly spaceships, not because I want to walk around. Star Citizen's kind of got them already beat on that one. Their walking around is really good. They just need to hurry up and finish the rest of the game, and they don't have a VR option, which I'm disappointed about. They won't until it releases. When. I'm sure it will be a when. Don't at me. I don't know how many years will be involved, but it'll be a when. Please do an Elite Dangerous stream thingy. Yeah, well, yeah. Next time I jump on, we'll do some Elite Dangerous. Yes, pixel density was the issue. I believe with the Pimaxes was one of the things I heard. I also need lens inserts for prescription. Yep, well, you can get those on most of the headsets now. I know Oculus has lots of coverage for that kind of stuff. G2 has some options available as well, along with different frames with thicker padding that you can get that allow for you to get glasses in under the headset, and there is enough room, which is good. I know the Quest 2 has almost screen door effect left. Yeah, most of the current generation, the new generation headsets, so Index, I think it's Vive Galaxy, the G2, and the Quest 2, they've killed screen door effect. They've worked out how to beat it now. Do you still play Realistic Battle in War Thunder? Because I would like to see you playing some Italian planes like the G55 and G56. Honestly, I'll fly them in Sim. Not really, to answer your question. War Thunder RB has almost lost all interest to me now. I fly it in Sim because it's just more fun. I've been flying War Thunder RB for 8 years. It's reached the point where, you know, I'm finding more enjoyment than I did a couple of years ago out of it, but I'm finding Sim is just so much better. So, yeah, not really anymore. It's not to say that I won't, but for the moment, anyway, everything is sim based. I use prescription lenses with my my Quest 2. Definitely worth it. Yeah, as I said, the Quests in particular, the Oculus products have a lot of adapters, including face changes, prescription lens. I think you can actually order in custom lenses. If you have your actual prescription, you can send your prescription through to one of the manufacturers and they will make new lenses that you can insert into your Quest 2 that already have your prescription built into the lens themselves. So you don't need to put your glasses on. You just put the new lenses in, and there's your prescription already molded into the glass out of the go, like out of the bat. So no need for glasses inside of the headset at all. They've got some really nice options that a few of the other headset manufacturers need to start getting in on, because Oculus, I hate the Facebook integration, but they're doing some other stuff really right. If I wanted to do FPS, there are far better options. More DCS. DCS as soon as I can get it, actually record it properly. I've got it playing fine. I just can't record it clearly at the moment. As soon as I get that sorted out, I'm hoping there's going to be an OpenXR update soon enough that may fix the frame rate issues on the playback for recording, in which case I'll be able to stream and record VR in VR DCS in the same way that I can do War Thunder at the moment, which would be really nice. Combined arms playing tank gameplay in SB might be worth a try. I was actually thinking about bringing in some strike bombers and jumping into an RB match, a tank SB match, and just ruining people's day. Just going around and bombing tankers all day. It would be an arsehole thing to do, but I've seen the pilots fly in War Thunder Tank Sim. I think I can take them all, and I think I can bomb tanks while doing it. I might try IL-2 to see how the population compares in my region, UK. A lot of UK pilots, a lot of European pilots. If you're in UK, you'll also be stuck between the US and European time zones, which means you'll have a really wide play area. And as always, 9 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. IL-2 fly out on the unprofessional server, come join. I'm most excited for just walking around in stations and exploring on foot than any sort of combat. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you can get custom lenses for almost all headsets now. There's a few companies that do them. Yeah, no, it's good. They've got to get onto all the other stuff. Mag slamming an F-18 into the deck at 90 FPS with volumetric cloud sounds great. No, actually, one thing I've noticed, well, as I said, I have depth perception now in VR that I don't have in real life. I not only haven't slammed the F-18 into the deck since I started flying in VR, I'm 3-wiring the fucking thing every single time now. No problems at all. Mag's crashes have almost disappeared. It's incredibly boring watching me fly now. Go watch the last DCS video I put up in the Hornet. Go to the end of it and watch the landing. That's pretty much how I land now. Have you tried the new F-22 mod on DCS? Now, as I said before, not yet, but I will be checking it out sometime soon. I'm holding off on the DCS stuff until I can record it fully. Hopefully I will be able to do some soon, although the last video wasn't terrible. It was a little low on the frame rate, but I might try and do another one again. I've been flying the 219 and SB ground recently. 1v1, it can still kill about 50% of the fighters who come at me, but mouse aiming turret gunners still kill me. Mouse aiming turret gunners is War Thunder simulation battles' worst thing, and that needs to fix. Hard flex on the 3-wire, but okay. I'm just saying, I don't get it perfect every time, but I'm friggin' close every time now. And it's because well, I'll let you in a little secret. I can see the carrier now. That's what it is. I can see the bloody thing now. Consider a Raven 1 playthrough for DCS? Absolutely. It's on my shortlist. The only reason I haven't started it is, again, because of the frame rate. I absolutely want to play through that. I've also got 2 other campaigns racked up at the moment that I want to play, but I want to do them in VR. That's the whole thing with the channel now. I want to do VR, and the only thing that's stopping me is the ability to record VR, because I can't get a decent playback. If Eagle Dynamics puts in something where I can make a better playback window than what they currently do, that I can record from in hardware, I'll use that. If Steam fixes Steam VR, I'll use that. If Microsoft, for the love of God, fixes the Windows Mixed Reality portal, I will use that. Or if the OpenXR plugin comes in and actually manages to fix the issue, I will use that. I don't care what the option is, but right now all of them are kind of shit when it comes to recording DCS. They're borderline recording IL2. Warthog is the only thing that I can record basically perfectly fine and smooth every single time. So I'm working the options and hoping some options are going to pop up soon enough. And it's mainly because I think the biggest issue at the moment is a whole bunch of new headsets have come out. Whole bunch of new hardware's come out, and the developers that work around all of the applications in VR, they're struggling to quickly catch up with everything that's hitting the market. So I'm hoping there will be fixes soon enough, and as soon as they do, damn right, there's going to be DCS. I'll be playing Raven 1, I'll be getting everything else there, and you'll be able to watch me get killed and scream like a bitch as I get blown out of the sky in VR, because nothing is scarier when you're flying a plane around in DCS. Like, you've flown a plane around in DCS and got shot at by missiles. When you feel like you're in the plane that's getting shot at by missiles, it is fun. It is a good feeling. Landing the F-18 is dirt easy. Yes, when you can see what you're trying to land on. I've had DCS for almost no time now. I can barely cold start without a tutorial, so I'll get there. Yeah, it's all time. Anyways, guys, I'm going to bring this one up to here because I think that was like an hour of questions at the end. But as long as you guys were having fun, I was having fun talking back. This has been great. Yeah, I will be doing all of my live streaming for flight sims, at least for the moment, to the YouTube channel directly. They'll be 720p, as I said. They'll be pretty much what you see here. And I have been, and I think it's still recording. Yes, it is. I've been recording this entire thing from start to finish. I will go through and cut out any highlights that I find, anything that's interesting on the way through, and put together a little highlights reel in 1080p. It'll be, I think I'm recording in 1080p 60, so that'll be fine. I can't record any higher than that because that's the limit of the window that I can actually render for you guys to see based on the size of the eye. It's a pain in the ass, but 1080p 60 is where it's going to be at for that, or 1080p 30 roughly. And yeah, as more flight sims become viable to stream, I will be streaming more of them. In fact, I should be able to possibly stream some Microsoft Flight Simulator soon. So we might go climb some mountains, and that should be fun. Alright, please do a cold waters video. How about I just find a submarine, something submarine related that I can do that isn't cold waters? I think I've just about burned that one out. Anyways, guys, until next time, remember to click that like button if you did. Share and subscribe if you want to see more. God, it's like the end of one of my videos again, isn't it? Check out the merch store as well, because that's where, as much as it's a YouTuber merch store on Teespring, that's where I'm slowly filtering in the new designs that are actually going to go up on my personal store once I've got it up and running over the course of the year. So you're going to see some new stuff popping up in there soon. I'm working on a Focke-Wulf 190 Anton design at the moment. Have a good one, guys. Have a good night, and take care.